Phoenix.
Hey.
The big grin. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family, cats and dogs. Brielle! Thank you and welcome to the Mirage Podcast. The Mirage Sorry, a little echo up in here. I am interviewing one of the greatest individuals I've ever met. Gotta give a shout out to my best friend.
Mir? No, Mir didn't introduce us.
Gotta give a shout out to my best friend, Light Khalif Bussy, who we heard in episode 103, for introducing me to last week's guest, Brittany, and this week's guest, Jordan Ashley, aka Spyder.
Yep.
You are one of the most powerful, one of the most powerful people that I have met thus far. But I love how being powerful is something that expands into multiple categories, into different things. So clearly you're powerful physically. We see this on the screen right now. Clearly you're powerful physically. I don't understand. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't do compliments, sorry.
Why am I not allowed to compliment you, Jordan?
You're complimenting me before I didn't do anything.
But the hard work that you did to get to where you are today, to be as powerful as you are, powerful to the point of receiving a compliment.
Nope. Yeah, what I was supposed to do.
Did I tell you my take on like giving a compliment? Or no, accepting a compliment? Because I too do not like accepting compliments. Of course, they make you like feel uncomfortable and awkward. But see, your definition is different. You were saying I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I feel like you compliment and praise people when they did something. I didn't do anything. I've done what I've always done. It's just my routine. It's not a compliment worthy.
So what are your thoughts on, or how would you feel if I said that to deny a compliment is to deny someone else's truth? Because I consider it to be like, for example, if I'm like, yo, you're the most powerful person I've met. Out of everybody I've met, I'm going down the list of people that I know in my head right now, and out of all of them, you are powerful in both a mental, an intellectual, and a physical way. Here's why. Because in the gym you lift this, and because in your friendships you do this, and because in your career you do this. I don't know anyone else in my life that is that powerful. So when you say, nope, isn't that taking what I consider to be true and denying it?
Just because I said no, does that no longer make it true to you?
Well, how come you won't accept it?
Because I don't have to accept it.
Okay.
It's not. I feel like when I don't take compliments, it's not me denying the person's truth. It's just you're telling me how you view me in a way that I'm not able to view myself. So when you say, "Oh, you're the strongest person," no, I'm not. There's somebody stronger. You will, or I'm saying it in the sense of there will be somebody who outdoes whatever it is that I just did, or somebody's already outdoing it. They just didn't get the recognition that I'm getting. So I'd rather not go to me. I'd rather just keep doing what I do, and just kind of go unnoticed.
Now, you mentioned people seeing you the way that you do not see yourself, which we had the privilege of posting. Love that you had the time and you were able to pop into Brittany's interview. What is your take on that entire concept? Being able to see people in a way that they don't see themselves. How do you go about encouraging other people and maybe using that method or that strategy?
One, I feel like everyone's just naturally dope, and they kind of just got to figure out how they want to express that in any form or fashion. And people are dope in multiple ways. Like we have Khalif, who does damn near everything. You know what I mean? If it involves entertainment, there's nothing he can't do. But it's because he recognized his own dopeness in that. So I don't have to. If I told him he's a good actor, right? He's going to tell me no, he's not, because there's still more work to do. Right? But if you challenge him to acting, or you question his ability to act, that's when he's going to let you know, nah, I'm still really dope at this. I might not be where I want to be at yet, but you can't sleep on me.
Is this why the whole like talking trash thing exists? Is that the breakdown? Is that the reason?
I talk trash because I'm an athlete. That's just what you do.
Oh, okay.
When you believe you're the best at whatever you're doing in that moment, because being the best is always a momentary thing. You have to keep proving that. But when you believe you're the best at whatever you're doing in that time and place against whoever else is doing it against you, you have the trash talking comes out. It's natural. And if the competitor is not talking trash back, to me, it kind of takes the fun out of it, because I want to see you do better than me, so I have to step up to do better than you. So I might take a couple jabs at you. I might say,
I'm
yeah, you're
sorry.
not
I
making
want to make sure we don't miss that one. I want to see you do better than me
just so I can do better than you.
so
Yeah.
that I can step up and still beat the competition.
Yeah, every time. If you, I get excited in the gym when somebody lifts heavier than me. I find weird motivation, like that 7-year-old guy who woke up at 5 a.m. to go do cardio. I'm like, fuck, I woke up at 6. What does he have that I didn't do? All right, well, I'm not going to wake up at 5. You know what I mean? Like he has that
Mm.
on me, but I'm here now, so I'm going to make sure whatever that old dude did to hustle, I hustle a little bit harder. If I'm the strongest guy in the gym, if I'm doing chest and somebody else is doing chest, I kind of like I take notice. Like, oh yeah, that guy's big. His chest is better. He's more defined there. Cool, you're winning right now. I'll win later. No, I'll get back. And it's just one of those. It's just that's how I keep the competitive drive going. That's how I always make sure I stay on top of my shit.
There's something to be said for how you will acknowledge the success of another person. And I can't find exactly what word I want to use. Humble is coming to mind, but I'm not sure that's the correct word for this exact scenario. There's something to be said for a person that wants to beat the competition without tearing the competition down. That's deep, Spyder.
Um, I feel like if you have to break somebody down just for you to feel like you've won, you didn't win. You
Mm,
didn't actually achieve anything. All you did was just piss somebody else off who did nothing to you to deserve that. There's
wow.
there's a way like there's people who trash talk and it gets on my nerves. Like
Yeah.
people look at you like, oh, you're trash. Like unless you're talking to Harlan. Harlan's somebody in my friend group who you can call all my friends, you can call each other trash. Like we collectively can call each other trash, understanding we don't mean that. And it's just our way of saying like, all right, step your game up. But there's people who are who will really try to like degrade your efforts and degrade your ability and degrade what they just witnessed because they feel so much superior or so much better. Like, bro, if you are that much superior and better, then you shouldn't have to talk down to somebody to feel that.
Mm,
You should kind of just
mm,
hold that within yourself and know that's there. And if you're facing somebody who's really pushing you to your limit or somebody who's really testing the waters with your
mm-hmm,
ability, then you really can't talk down to them because they're showing you
mm-hmm.
that they're kind of on your level. So talking down to them isn't the case. So my whole thing is basketball is one of my favorite sports. We play. Light hits a shot. I bet you won't hit that shot again. I'm daring you. Why? Because I know Light. I know Light has a good jump shot. He should have never made the first one on me if I was on top of my game. So for you to take it again and make it, you expose the weakness. Now I'm excited. There's something for me to
Wow.
work on. But on the playback, if Light shot a jump shot, I'm not the greatest jump shooter, but you best believe my next shot is going to be a jump shot just to see where my game is at
Mm,
compared to his on shooting. I need to see where I'm at compared to you. But it's not
mm,
because I feel like I'm better than you.
mm.
It's just literally we're testing each other out. We're trying to push each other. As I get better, you get better. As you get
Right.
better, I get better. And that's what it's supposed to be for me.
Hmm.
That's how it's supposed to work in everything that I do. So I kind of get
Right.
excited when I have a tough opponent or the weight's really heavy or somebody at the show that I compete in for bodybuilding comes in
Mm.
stacked. It's like, oh no, I'm about to get my ass kicked today. But wait till you see my next show. Like I'm more like
Right.
this show, cool. You're gonna kick my ass and I'm gonna do what I gotta do to try to place well. But this next show, after seeing you and I'm gonna learn from you, I'm gonna ask you for your advice, I'm gonna get some tips. I'm gonna study you a little bit, understand what you did that I didn't do, and then I'm just better now.
Right. Do you have any competition turned friends?
Giovanni Coletti, one of my best friends. Him and Light are my top two best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two at the pillar for me. Me and Gio met competing in bodybuilding together.
Mm.
Um, Franklin Arabina, Javon from Georgia, Ikenna, Adrian Thomas. There's a lot of people.
That were
I can
competition first.
Yeah, these are people who I've competed against, went up against, had to battle it out with for whatever form or fashion, and whoever wins wins. May the best man win at that time type of mentality.
Right.
But it was never any saltiness when one of us lost. Also, just want to throw this out there, I haven't lost to them. That might be the case. Um, no, I'm only talking shit because we're all about to compete together soon. But
Ah, nice.
uh, yeah, no, but yeah, I have a lot of people who I've competed against who I end up being friends with, and it's typically the people who I felt were the ones who were the closest to beating me or the ones who pushed me to my
Mm.
limit.
Okay.
I tend to become friends with them afterwards, only because it's like, bro, I get excited when I feel that push, that level of
Right.
energy from having to really test myself is amazing. So I respect those people a lot. I let them know they're
Yeah.
respected. I let them know I think they're dope, and then it just keeps going. And then 2, 3 years later, here we are, and we're all still competing. We're still going at shows, still at each other's necks. But if we're not on the stage at the same time, I want them to tear their competition apart. I need them
Yeah.
to win. I want them to thrive fully, only because even if something can happen to me right now and I don't ever get to compete again, I still want my homies to win.
Right.
And it's one of those things. So yeah, I have a lot of
And
competition turned
that's
friends.
yeah. That's the reason I asked. I wanted to give an opportunity for you to kind of highlight and acknowledge them, because that same trait that you possess, where you do not have to kick anyone while they're down, or where you don't have to bring anyone down at all just because you're in competition with them, that to me is a beautiful characteristic that deserves acknowledgement. Just because you're competing against someone does not mean that you cannot be on the same team as them, befriend them, and support them, encourage them, teach them everything you know. We get better together, opposite that crabs in a bucket, theory of all of us kind of pushing each other down, thinking that we're the one person that needs to get outside of that bucket. It doesn't work that way. So,
I mean, there's days where I have this FU list going,
mm,
and some of my friends our competition turn friends make that list depending on
mm,
just perfect example. Somebody the other day in the gym said I was average looking, and I agreed 100%. I feel like that was the most accurate statement that I've received. And we're
speaking
not
on your
talking average in
physique.
this, yeah. Mhm.
Mm,
And we're not talking average in the sense of the 7 billion people walking the planet. We're talking average in the sense of the select few who do bodybuilding.
mm,
So yeah, I see where you're coming from for that. And but hearing that put him on my fuck you list. And it's not because he was wrong, it's because he was right. And I needed that push. So I've been an animal in the gym again recently.
mm.
And and it's not a F you like I hate you. It's a
Yeah,
F you like fuck you got me on that. Like you were absolutely
yeah.
right. Now I need to prove you wrong. Like now I need to make it so you can never say those words ever again. And we're still gonna be cool. Because you did
Mm,
me the biggest favor. And it's one of those things. But
yeah.
it's not always happy. It's not always fun. It's not always like, oh yeah, everyone wins. Nah, sometimes you're just a loser, bro. You got to take that for what it is. And you might need to be an asshole in the gym. You might need to be a little less friendly. You might need to have that chip on your shoulder and create your own demons a little bit
Mm,
just to push you over that edge. But you also need to know when to turn it off. You can't carry that with you everywhere.
mm-hmm. What would have pushed you to this point had he not acknowledged that you looked average?
That's a good question. Um, Me at some point. At some point, I would have,
At some
because I
point.
don't think I
Mm,
look great. I naturally, even though, again, same concept. You compliment me, I'm not accepting it. But the moment you doubt me or you sleep on me, I like that
mm,
challenge. So my ego starts to thrive a little bit. And it's an ego
mm,
sport that I'm in. So if he didn't do it, I've already been looking in the mirror. I've already been checking my photo updates and just calculating the time. Like, all right, cool. You got about another week or two
mm,
before you really need to dial it in. But he just made me kick it in 2 weeks earlier than I planned.
mm. Gotcha.
So that's all. But I would have eventually kicked it up. I don't. I'm very hard on myself.
Mm. So before we take the conversation into a deeper direction, tell me more about the competition that is coming up. You said that you and your friends are all about to compete together, and what that preparation process looks like.
The main show we're all shooting for is Team Universe, which is a bodybuilding competition. I compete in the men's physique division. Um, and most of us are trying to compete in that. So
Mm,
we've already qualified. It's a national level show. If you win your class or take top two in your class, you go pro. But none of us want to win top two in our class. We want to win the overall. Like
mm,
everyone in the men's physique, the judges think you're the best. So that's what we're all shooting for. And
gotcha.
I personally believe, since we're all in different height classes too, which is great, none of us have to actually share the stage together.
Okay.
Same division, but it goes by your height at the amateur level. So we can
Right.
actually watch each other compete, and we can all win and
Mm.
turn pro at the same show together. But only one of us can win the overall.
Me.
Only one of us can win the overall,
uh,
and since only one of us gets to win the overall in that situation, that's where that drive is coming from now. It's the idea of knowing, yeah, we're all going to take 1 and 2 in our class, that's for sure. But who gets that overall? Who gets to hit that group chat with that trophy picture? Who gets to make everybody else in that chat buy him his meal? Like it's one of those. It's just the bragging rights. You know what I mean? But we're all going to turn pro together, and we got to repeat that same result on the pro stage, where your height doesn't matter. You're now just whoever you are. You just step up, and
mm.
it's one of those. So
What
I got
is
a
it
couple hundreds.
about you? What is it about you that's going to make it so that you do win the overall?
I hate losing. No, that's it.
Expand.
There's nothing more to expand on. I don't lose. I don't lose. It's not something that I accept well. I take losing graciously. I don't.
Yes.
Also, like a card game. I hate losing card games for some reason. I'm petty like that.
So
Like
you're just
phase 10.
competitive in nature, like on an extreme level, maybe.
Light and I bet $43 today on who could throw a paper towel into a trash can hole that was about this big. I'm up $2 on it. Stupid. Everything. I'm competitive with everything. But I think that's how it makes me do things the right way,
I understand.
effectively. So even at my job, it's like, nah, I need to be the best behavioral analyst on the planet. So I look up other behavioral analysts who have more accolades. I'm like, yeah, I need 3 of those. Just because you have one, I need 3. I'm not about to sit here and let you think you won. But if you go get 4, I need to go get 5 now. And I need you to go get 4 so I can go get 5. It's one of those things. I put you on a pedestal, and then I knock you off your pedestal, and then hopefully you knock me off so I can climb back up to it. And I love the
Mm,
chase. I love it all. But I hate losing. I hate someone thinking they're actually better than me. It bothers me. And it bothers me when I think they're better than me. That's what bothers me more. When I recognize you're better than me, that's when a different level of me comes out.
that's deep. So, again, for anyone listening and watching that may not already be familiar with Jordan, with Spyder, you are a guest on this show, and I just thought of this as I was listening to you speak. There are many reasons why I invited you, and I truly wanted the world and the listeners of this platform to hear from you. But the one thought that just popped into my head, you make having a winner's mentality look effortless. You make it look so, so easy. So from the outside looking in, we hear you explaining this. We hear you explaining the depth, beneath your competitive nature, and how serious you are about it, how strongly you feel about these concepts. And it's just like, if I could just have an ounce of everything you just said, if I could just have 1 ounce of feeling that way about myself and about those around me, then I would absolutely be further along in whatever area, because of that type of confidence, or just that maybe it's an understanding thing, the way that you understand yourself and the way you operate. So I know that just the way that you speak, about your experiences and about your progress, you are bound to motivate and inspire someone to feel, like I said, even just a fraction of the way that you do. So in that way, thank you just for being you.
Oh, I
Much
guess I'll accept
appreciated
that.
by people. Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Sounds like a compliment there. Thank you.
Did you just try to disguise that
Did you
compliment?
did you just throw a compliment in that one? I don't know. Take it back. Take it
Was that a monologue with a one compliment in it, and then the monologue continued? So, taking things to a deeper level, taking a closer look. Spyder.
Hey,
This is an acronym.
yes.
Can you let me know what birthed this acronym? What the words are for each of those letters, please? Where did it come from? Why is it significant?
See, this is crazy because like we had the conversation. This
I
is why
know.
I said this is going to be dope because like we already know like the original interview. We know what really happened
Yes.
already. All right. Um, Spyder. I got it from my grandmother when I was a kid, like 4 or 5 years old. Somebody passed away in my family. I still don't remember who. I meant to ask. I probably no, no was here. Somebody
You
passed
had
away.
2 weeks to ask. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Uh, Somebody passed away, and I'm one of these people who like I kind of take on the feelings of those around me a bit. So like everyone else was sad, and I didn't really understand why. I didn't know the person that well. I just knew everyone else was sad, so I was just feeling sad. And I don't want to say like depressed. I was 4. I feel like when you're 4, it's just a sad day. You know what I mean? Um, but I called my grandmother just because like I didn't like how I was feeling, and I told her about it. And I expressed to her, like, yeah, I'm just feeling this way. It kind of sucks. Like I haven't been happy in a couple of days. Everyone else is crying and sad, and just I don't know, just feeling it too. And she let me know, like, hey, like I need you to, keep your spirit in check. Like one of the greatest things about you is your spirit. You need to keep that spirit going. Um, I need you to maintain your passion for life. You need to maintain everything you do. You do it so passionately. You need to maintain that as well. And as she's saying these words and these things, I'm just kind of doodling. And I had a bad memory as a kid, so I used to always write things down as a reminder of what people said to me. And I paraphrase a lot. So
Mm.
I like to write down the exact things I kind of quoted. And so I'm writing it out, and she's like, yeah, like also like these are adult issues. This is an adult thing. Like you're a kid, stay youthful, stay young. Don't ever grow up quick. Don't let the real world take your youth from you. Always remain a little childish. Keep that inner child alive. And she's like, but another thing, like just stay focused. Like you're a determined person. You always work hard. Stay that way. Just stay focused on your task at hand. Stay determined. And she's like, but more than anything, whatever you're doing, make sure you enjoy it. Really have full enjoyment in everything you're doing. She's like, and you don't have to worry about being sad as much. You don't have to worry about that because yeah, you'll have your sad days, but like look at the rest of your life. And then she's like, last thing, like you're resilient, you're strong. Like stay that way. Always maintain your resilience. I understand you'll bounce back. Understand you're strong. You know what I mean? And I feel like everyone says this, but like my last name is Ashley, bro. Like that means something.
Mm.
That means something. My grandfather, my great grandfather, my pops, like we got the same last name, and good, better, or worse, or whatever, good, better, and different. We, I'll be all right. And it was just one
Yeah.
of those things. So she's saying that, and I'm writing it out, and I realized I wrote the word spirit, passion, youth, determination, enjoyment, and
Mm-hmm.
resilience. But I didn't write them like in a line. I wrote them on top of each other. And when I
Mm.
looked down, I realized the first letter of each word spelled the word spider. I got all hyped. I'm
Right.
like, oh, Nana, blah, 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 blah. It spells spider. This is so dope. And she's like, you like that? I'm like, yeah. She's like, because of Spider-Man, right? I'm like, duh. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. It still is.
Right.
Right? And she's like, all right, well, we're going to call you Spider. But, like, you kind of got to live by that. Like, remember
Mm.
this and be that now.
Mm.
So she was the first person to call me Spider, and I was hell-bent on everyone calling me Spider. It was one of these things like, no, you're all going to call me Spider, and I'm going to be a superhero, and I'm gonna save y'all one day. Like, y'all going to need me. It
Amen.
was one of those.
I love that.
It was one of those. But I'm a child. So like I'm keeping the comic book idea of it alive. But I didn't. At some point, it really became like who I was,
Yeah.
and no one else wanted to call me it. Like I was Kid Spider through middle school. I got a whole bunch of FUs off of that. We're not calling you that. You're still Jordan. All right, that's on y'all. I'm not responding to Jordan, but that's on y'all. And then
Right.
yeah, then high school. Every in my head, it was just like no one fucked with me when I was growing up. Besides like the five
Hmm.
people that I had, right?
Hmm.
So, and your five best friends, all y'all do is bust on each other all day. So they're definitely not about to call you Spider because you're asking them to. So that's their
Or
perfect
when they
opportunity to
do
just
call
like,
you Spider, they turn it into a joke and just make
yeah,
fun of you
oh,
for having the
Spider,
nickname.
right? Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was one of those, and it was okay though. It was one of those like, all right, like I get where it's coming from. Everyone else wasn't calling me because like I didn't like them and they didn't like me. We weren't. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I wasn't close to people like that. Then high school hit, and I didn't tell you this part. All right, cool. So high school hit, and I was still playing basketball. I was playing AAU. I was traveling a lot, playing basketball,
Mm-hmm.
and I stopped track for that 2 year period of ninth and 10th grade. I stopped track
Hmm.
to focus on basketball when I transferred schools, and whatever reason, the coach on the basketball team, he was just BSing it. I was better than his point guard he had coming in. Me and my cousin both. My
Hmm.
cousin Marquise, still one of the best basketball players I got to witness with my eyes. He was somebody who, when we were kids, we were at the same level, but I
Mm-hmm.
always knew he had it in him to go further than I could.
Hmm.
Just because he was a dog for that sport. I was a dog for winning, but he was a dog for basketball. So
Mm.
him and I are going tryouts, coaches BSing it, and we literally tried out against each other by ourselves. While the rest of the team that they had last year just went and practiced.
Wow.
So when that happened, it hit me, and I didn't make the team because like, bro, you never saw if I could actually play. So
Right.
we played them that summer. So I lost. I didn't make the team, and I went back to track that year just so I could stay active. And I cried after the tryout because I hate losing.
Mm.
I cry almost after every loss I take. That's a fact. Every time I lose in something, no matter how big or small, a part of me wants to cry every time. I don't know why.
Hmm.
But I was in the car crying, and my dad was like, he's like, yeah, well, you know what you need to do? You need to become undeniably undeniable. That's another thing that I live by. You need to become
Hmm.
undeniably undeniable. They'll never deny you again. And now imagine hearing that when you're 15, right?
Wow.
That was fall of 2009. So I was 15. He told me that. I never stopped thinking about it. Every single day I said it to myself. And I remind myself, I'm like, yo, you're fucking Spider, bro. Become undeniably undeniable. So we went to the track. Every bag I had the name Spider on it. And it was a reminder of myself, like these people aren't going to call your name until they have no choice but to recognize your name.
Wow.
So when your name's attached to everything that they know,
Yeah.
so the bag Spider, when you're winning track awards, have the announcer call you Spider, all that shit. But for them to call it to you and for it to be known, you got to win.
Right. You have to be noticeable.
A different beast came out,
That's so
and it got to a
cool. You
point.
did not tell me this.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that. A different monster came out at that point, and that's when
Mm.
the real mentality of it came, because you talk to yourself, you prep yourself, and you coach yourself a little bit when you're doing something. All right, come on, Ava, you
Absolutely.
can do this. It was never
Absolutely.
come on, Jordan. I
Mm.
never said once to myself, "Come on, Jordan." It was like, "Come on, Spider, you got this. Come on,
Nice.
Spider.
Okay.
Come on, Spider." It was
I
like,
mean,
"Come on,
but
now,
you
Spider. You're
felt that
slipping,
way
Spider."
even when you were a child. It was just the time, that space in between, like before your father said undeniably undeniable. So it sounds like there was about a decade. You said 4 or 5 when you spoke to your
Yeah,
grandmother, and you said 15. So there was a decade of like, I wish they would call me this.
but
They
then I
don't even
started
they
writing.
don't understand.
But it got to the point where even in school, like I stopped writing my name on papers as Jordan. I would just write Spider, and teachers wouldn't grade my papers back. I'm like, "So you're gonna say I didn't do the test?" No, it was that. But in my head, it was like, okay, that's fine. Like I don't grade my paper. I don't care about the school anyway. Like I said, like I'm going for a legacy right now. I'm not worried about the teacher. But even like, oh, what people? Like, oh, well, your name here says Jordan. What do you want to call you? Spyder. Oh, I'm not calling you that. I'll just call you Jordan. Then don't ask me what I want you to call me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I was that kid. I did have that attitude. I had that chip on my shoulder with everyone, everything, because I had to at that time. I absolutely had to. But as I got
Huh.
older, I realized like the mentality of never want to be denied again. And the
Mm-hmm.
only way that I could be undeniable is I have to tap into that Spyder side of myself more often.
Mm.
But the joking of the name is what made me really drive for it even more. And then I got to college
Mm.
and I was kind of solidified in being Spyder and who I was, and I didn't really care if anyone called me it or not. But that's when everyone started calling me it, like everybody.
Right.
So ever since that, everyone's called me Spyder. Even now, the people who used to laugh, like they don't even know my real name sometimes. I think I get called Spyder more than anything else now.
Good. Do you have a first person, a friend at first? Does it stand out in your mind? The person that did truly believe that of you, as soon, whether or not it was as soon as you told them, but who's the first person that knew about the acronym, understood why you wanted to be called that, and confidently went ahead and like gave you that?
I never told anyone what the acronym stood for until
Mm,
my freshman year of college. I told my four roommates,
mm,
my freshman year of college. They laughed, but they laughed because they didn't know it was an acronym. They weren't laughing because they thought it was stupid. They're like, oh, we just didn't know. So they
mm,
laughed like, damn, bro, you've been carrying this name with you since you were a kid. Like, you still rocking with it? I'm like, yeah. But
yeah.
that was it. But as far as the people who like heard it, knew the story, and was like, yeah, go ahead and achieve it, not a single soul. Nobody. Nobody.
Mm,
It was always me. But I'm that person. Like, I didn't really need anyone to do it.
right,
In fact, I
right.
needed more people to not believe in it. I
In
was
order
that
to
kid who would
drive
feel
you.
like, yeah, I was that kid. I was easily motivated by doubt. You doubt me, I am now 100% going to make it happen. So I needed the doubt. I needed the outlandish goals to be set. I needed the people to kind of scoff a little bit and chuckle. I needed it to be where I'm at now.
Hmm. Makes sense.
But now
Let's
people
go.
call me it freely. So
That's good. As they should. It makes so much sense when we go through and here. We just did all that. We need okay. Let's break it down. So now, fast forward to the year 2020.
yeah.
Since your grandmother has given you that blessing of a name, when in your life thus far, up to this day, have you had to have the biggest spirit or the most spirit?
Huh. Never asked that question.
Or maybe just how would you describe your spirit? Mm, mm,
I'll answer both. The day that I had
mm-hmm.
to have the most spirit, it ties back into how we ended one of the last conversations, was probably when my dad thought about killing himself or tried to kill himself in front of me. Came home, my dad was on the floor crying with a gun to his head. He had no clue I was home, called his name, didn't hear me, walked to the house, and I'm just walking around. I didn't know he was home. I didn't see any cars, anything like that. So I walked into the house, and then something told me to just go upstairs and check my parents' room, and I'd never checked their room for nothing. And I go, my dad's sitting there in the dark, like he did every day for almost a decade. He sat for almost 6 years. My dad sat in the dark every day, and he had a gun to his head this time, and I froze. It felt like hours that I was stuck there just watching him cry with a gun to his head. Where he didn't see me. He had no clue I was standing in the doorway. When I opened the door, he did not see me. And then next thing you know, I'm holding him, trying to get the gun out of his hand, and he was struggling to let go, but he wasn't trying to. He just was struggling to let go of it. You know what I mean? He wasn't putting up a fight. He just couldn't release it. And then he finally let go of it. I took it, held him. We cried. We broke down, cried. But it was that moment that I knew that whoever it is that I want to be, I need to go be that every day of my life. So I can't not be Spyder. I don't have a choice. It's no longer a superhero comic book alter ego. You put the mask on, you take the mask off, you can walk now. There's no more Jordan. Even if I introduce myself as Jordan or you see a Jordan, it's most likely still my mentality is still very savage. It's still very you got to go get it at all costs, and you can't play games with this because not fully pursuing your dreams, not fully pursuing who you want to be, could lead you in the same position
Mm,
that you just saw your pops in. So that was the day that
mm,
my spirit really unleashed. And even though it might look from afar like, oh, he's easy, he just wins, and oh, he's just strong. It's like, nah, bro. There's a lot of pain in every single ounce of who I am.
mm,
So that pain came out around that time. I couldn't tell you what year it was. could not tell
I was
you.
just thinking that.
I've
Hmm.
my I have a really good memory when it comes to dates. I can't remember conversations. I remember dates, places, people, things. I don't remember words. But for that moment, and I always try to think about this, I couldn't tell you what year it was, where. I can only tell I was in his room. It was dark. He had a gun to his head. He was crying. I can't tell you what time of year it was. I can't tell you the weather. I can't tell you how old I was, how old he was, how long it's been since that day. Because to me, it still feels like it kind of happened yesterday.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but it's been a couple of years. I know. I couldn't tell you how long ago. I really could not remember the year to save my life if I tried. And it's
Has
just
there
one of those
been
things.
any recollection of that moment between you and your father? No.
Nah. When it comes to mental health, I don't play games with it. But he used to. He used to try to just deny it. It's a
Mm-hmm.
black household thing. It's very common, especially when you're a black male. The idea of admitting a weakness because it sounds like a weakness. People view weaknesses
Unfortunately.
as you being weak, when even the strongest of things have weaknesses. It doesn't make them weak. It just makes them a human, alive. It makes them a
Human.
thing. Like, you know what I mean? And that weakness just means there's always room for improvement. If you don't have a weakness, you're perfect, and that doesn't exist.
Right.
So he struggled for a while with it, but then he caught on to the idea of caring about his mental health more.
Mm-hmm.
But we never talk about it. He's home right now. I'm pretty sure if I asked him right now about it, it would literally be like, "What are you talking about?"
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, he tries his best to never
Now, from the
think about it or
outside
relive it.
looking in, and this is just a random question, from the outside looking in, would you say that he is overall doing much better?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
To go 2009, 2010, he lost his job, a really good job. My dad was honestly killing it. He was top of real estate and
Mm.
mortgages in New Jersey.
Huh.
Award after award after award was doing his thing, and then the market crashed and everything changed. Right.
Right, right, right.
And I remember the day he came home when he told everyone he lost his job. And I think because you're a kid, parents kind of forget that like kids aren't stupid. We pay attention to everything.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
always pick and choose when to react and speak on it, right?
Right.
And being that kid, we're like, I didn't go out. I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't that kid partying in high school. I didn't do
Yeah.
drugs and I didn't have anything. So it was like, bro, all I had to do was just pay attention to everything.
Hmm.
So I think they
Hmm.
forget how much really sticks with you. But I remember in 2009, 2010, lost his job. And then just the struggle he had, but he never quit. He showed pure resilience the whole way through because he wanted to now become who he knows he needed to be. So
Mm.
he fought for 10 years to get to where he's at now, to where he's climbing back to the top of real estate. He's back to owning his own businesses. He's back to doing what he loves.
Hmm.
It's a long ass grind. So I'm definitely proud. There's been nothing but improvements. He never quit. Even when you look at like, bro, you're kind of beating a dead horse here. You might want to switch it up. He's like, fuck that. It's my dead horse to beat. You know what I mean? Like, who are
Wow.
you to tell me when to stop beating my dead horse? And it was
Yeah.
one of those, like, no, yeah, go ahead, bro, it's your horse. But he's like, nah, your horse is never dead, bro. You were trying to bring it back. You were trying to read that.
Yeah, yeah, that was
You're trying
that
to revive that
CPR,
horse.
baby.
Yeah, you weren't feeding your
Wow,
dead
that's
horse.
dope.
You were pumping life into your dead horse. I just couldn't see it because I'm not you. So you were
That's hot.
reviving it.
Oof.
So he
I like that.
revived it. And I'm going to say this. He doesn't know. I don't think he can hear me right now. I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
2021 will be the best year my dad's ever had in his life.
Mm.
And I'm willing to bet every ounce of my soul on that.
Speaking that into absolute
Yeah.
existence,
It'll be
I
the best
touch
year
and
he's ever
agree.
had in his life. Preparation and opportunity always meet at some point.
Mm.
It's inevitable. Preparation
So
and
he's
opportunity.
prepared.
Whatever
He's
you think
ready.
about, what yeah, preparation and opportunity. Whatever you think about, whatever you work towards, whatever you grind hardest at, when the time comes, and it's going to come because that's what you're working towards. You're working towards creating that time. You're going to create the door. You're going to create that opportunity. And once you realize it, it's not that you're fail proof. It's just you're prepared for it. So,
Yep.
and at the moment, you might not even realize it's an opportunity. The next thing you know, you look back like, oh shit, I actually did already achieve that. I did that already. I was so focused on just staying prepared that
Right.
I achieved it without realizing it in a sense. So I think he's just going to go through 2021 doing what he feels like he needs to do, and then he's going
Yeah.
to look back and be like, oh damn, I did it. Like I really fucking did it.
Hmm. So
Yeah,
we
I
see
just
where you get a lot of your prize characteristics from as well. It sounds like he possesses a lot of them too.
I never thought about it. We're not that close, so I never thought about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My father and I, we're not that close either, but there are some days where I'm just like, ooh, did I just sound like my dad?
I
Didn't
catch
even
those
try.
moments. I catch
Yep.
those moments, but
Yeah.
we're not like the closest. So there's days where I
Mm-hmm.
kind of just don't notice it, and then when I'm with
Mm.
him, I'm like, oh no, yeah, bro, you're 100% my
We're the
dad.
same
I'm
person.
one. Yeah, we're the same. Yeah, happens
That's
often.
dope. So back to the acronym
Passion.
PASSION. When have you been the most passionate? Or what are you the most passionate about, I should say. I don't know why I went past tense.
Nikki Kaleni passed away 4/15/2012 was our senior year of high school. April 15th, 2012, she passed away. Didn't know the girl that well. Everyone knew her because she was just one of those people everyone in school knew, but you
Yeah.
would never hear anyone say anything negative about her. Bad accident happened between her and two other girls we went to school with. All three of them died. One had really bad internal bleeding on the brain, all these other issues, couldn't walk, anything. But Nikki did pass away. Nikki did die from the accident. And again, I'm one of those people, I feel what everyone around me is feeling, even though I tried not to show it all the time. My brothers knew her. My brothers were cool with her. Larry, AJ, and seeing them crying at her vigil crushed me. Because in my head, it's like, bro, if this is how y'all feel about her and losing her, I can only imagine how y'all are going to feel if it happens to one of us. And because she was so young, she was actually we almost went to the same college together. Me, her, and a couple others were all going to go to Rider University. And last minute, I committed to Monmouth. Maybe 2 weeks before that, I committed to Monmouth University last minute. But she passed away, and the whole school was shook for that whole week. She passed away, and then that following Monday, we had a track meet, and it was conference. So we had to go through it, the visuals that weekend, whatever, and then boom, Monday hits, and we have Olympic conference track meet. I'm sick, throwing up at the track meet. I rarely ever didn't place in the top 3 in anything I competed in that year. So I was one of the favorites to possibly win all of my events. I lost the first 3 events I did. Last place lost. All right. Hurdle, I hit every single hurdle, threw up at the end of the race, passed out, had a bad migraine.
Oh my gosh.
Long jump, I couldn't even really clearly see the runway because my vision was so blurry. I was just, I don't know, my body just wasn't feeling it. It was a hot ass day too, hot as hell for April. Jump, took last place in long jump to people who I would have blown out any other day of the week. And then it came down to high jump. The meet's tied up. Washington Township's tied with Pensauk in high school. Right? And if we lose, we lose. And it comes down to high jump, which is my last event, which my high jump partner fouled out, no heighted. I'm like, well, what the you never know height. We never know height. So in my head, I'm like, yo, it really comes down to this one meet. And this is Olympic conference. My senior year, I committed to school for track. I still need a bigger scholarship. And I'm stressing. And I just remember at some point, I had this mantra before I jump: more speed, more power, more speed, more power, attack, 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 jump in the air and stay there. Right? And then I have my 2 or 3 angels, my grandfather, my grandmother, and my Uncle Ray, who I'm like, do it for Ray, do it for Pop, do it for my mom. But in that moment, I said, do it for Nikki. Jump in the air and stay there and do this for Nikki. And every jump that I took, I felt like I was actually flying. All right. And I remember every jump. And then I remember there was a period where the bar hit maybe 6'4". And that's kind of high when you're in high school. And this kid cleared it. Freaking cleared it. I had never jumped 6'4" before. I was always a 6'2" guy.
Oh, wow.
Or a 6-foot guy at that point.
Yeah.
Right? He cleared 6'4". I'm like, fuck. All right, bro. So I'm up, and I got to clear 6'2" or whatever. Cleared it. PR'd on the spot. Boom, I'm up again. They put the bar at 6'4". And I'm like, all right, well, I did the best that I could. And then something clicked, and I was like, nah, bro, you got more. You said you're going to do this for Nikki. Man the fuck up and do this for Nikki.
What? And
don't put it on this dead girl's grave that you're going to win this, and then you settle for second. Die going for first. I don't care how. I was already thrown up, migraine. I passed out already. Wasn't supposed to be jumping anymore, but I told the trainers I was still going to compete. And I said, fuck it, leave it all out there. And I went and I jumped and I cleared 6'4". And I remember that jump. I had a photo of that jump. It was on my old Facebook. And all you see is me jumping, and all the clouds are just there with a little bit of sunlight beaming through. And it's just me, the bar, and just heavens. Just it's one of the dopest photos I've ever been in. Right? And I cleared the height. He fouled out at 6'5". I fouled out at 6'5". The judges went to the scorecard. Apparently, he fouled out at an earlier height, so I won on a technicality in points. But I also jumped the highest I ever jumped, and that jump sealed my scholarship to Monmouth. So that was probably the most amount of passion I had to put into anything, because I was no longer doing it for the sake of being Spyder or for anything. It was literally like, nah, bro, this is way bigger than everything you've ever done in that moment. So that was it. But what am I most passionate about? I'm just most passionate about doing whatever I want to do with life. I'm
Hmm.
passionate about just living life on my own terms, being myself, doing what I want to do, the way I want to do it.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean I don't like following rules. It just means if I'm going to live in this world and be a part of this life, I have to do it on my terms and do it in a way that I can at least live and be. When it's all said and done, I can look back and be like, yeah, bro, you
Hmm.
did everything you could. You had fun doing it all. You enjoyed it. You pursued everything you loved. You saw it all
Right.
through to the end. And whatever there is to look back on and remember it, I'm gonna be happy with whatever that is.
Hmm.
So my passion right now is just living life on my own terms and just doing whatever it is I want to do.
Are you a you only live once, tomorrow's not promised person?
I work like that.
Okay.
I work in that mentality. But I because I'm really just tapped in to myself. I'm so tapped into
Hmm.
what the universe is pushing me for. I'm so tapped into like how my spirit wants to go that I just know that like, yeah, I'm not dying tomorrow, bro.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's not the time. The universe would you're going to feel it. It's one of those things where I feel like if you're really just so locked into just what you're feeling and you go off
Yes.
that gut feeling for everything, you're going to know when you'll know. The universe will let you know like, hey, yo, bro, prepare. Today's that day.
Yeah.
So until the
Yeah.
universe tells me that, I'm not worried about it.
Amen.
So I work as if I could die right now,
Right.
but I live and understand and breathe so lightly because I understand I'm probably going to live forever.
Right.
In my mind, like I figured out the fountain of youth, and it's not some water. It's literally just do what you want to do.
That was a perfect segue. Our next letter. Youth, being youthful. In what ways are you youthful?
I'm a child. I'm 26, and I still watch anime every day. I think about pancakes all day. Um, I'm that guy who will wake up early on a Saturday morning just to watch
Pancakes.
cartoons still.
Yes.
Um, I looked at my Yu-Gi-Oh card collection the other day and really thought about challenging a grown ass man who I knew still had his cards to the duel, and we did. Actually, duel next week. I think we're gonna play. I think. Steph or my boy Stefan. We're both 26, and we're gonna talk about Yu-Gi-Oh better. But it's the simple things like that that make the moments that I'm so serious worth it. Because like,
Mm.
bro, you could grind this hard and seem so serious and seem so hard and so stoic and so badass, and like somebody could walk into a room and you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, yeah, bro, I'm a child still. But the key part to my youth, everything I wanted to do and be as a child, I'm doing it now as an adult. So I'm literally just living out
Mm.
all of my childish ways. I just found a way
Hmm.
to make money at it. My childish mentality is what's paying my bills. Everything.
Right.
I said I wanted to be a healer as a kid for my superpower. I went into the medical field. Like it was very easy for me to make that decision. Like, okay, what heals people? Oh, that yeah, I'm gonna go that way then. That's where the healing power is coming from. Oh man, I want to be so strong because Spider-Man can lift 8 times his body weight.
Mm.
All right, bro. I can lift a pretty decent amount of weight considering where I'm at. Oh, Spider-Man can run 200 miles per hour. I one of the fastest people to go through my school in history. Like it's one of those things. Like everything I wanted to do as a kid,
Yeah.
I made sure I had some form of that as an adult, and it's still going on now. So
Right.
the inner child in me always wins. He always like, nah, bro, we're not about to do this a mature adult decision today. We're gonna go be a kid,
Right.
and I tend to get better opportunities following my childish side.
Mm. I love what you said about being connected to yourself, and kind of the child within you. But people will say, child, that term doesn't have to be used just based on the age of somebody. Age is nothing but a number. How about the child in me is that part of my spirit that's innocent?
Yeah, I'm a
Innocent,
26-year-old kid.
not jaded by life and its craziness, and the pain that life has dealt you. You have to dig in and reach in and tap into that child within, or else I feel like you don't have your spirit. You mentioned something like that earlier
I
that made me
feel like
think of this point.
video games were the greatest form of proving that you could be you could take what you love as a child and
Mm-hmm.
win. And it's so simple. Like, bro, somebody loved gaming so much they created Xbox and PlayStation to just
Yeah.
keep creating video games because they all want to do is play video games all day. But it's the stuff you loved as a
Yes.
kid. And if you're gonna tell me video games don't pay off, bro, a 16-year-old won $3 million by playing Fortnite. You're gonna tell me you can't pay off by loving it? You gotta love it more than everybody else. So you can always be a child, just figure how you're gonna live
Yes.
and accept whatever
Hmm.
that lifestyle looks like. A lot of people want to be the child, but live like the mogul. It's like, no, unless your inner child wanted to be a mogul, you might not achieve that.
Right. 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 Right.
Being a mogul and doing things that society deems as being responsible and an adult and Everyone wants to
Right.
be an entrepreneur now because that's what all the adults. It's like, bro, if you don't get that adult bullshit out of here, what does the real you want to do? What did you always want to be when you're growing up? Go do that, and I guarantee you'll be 10 times happier than whatever dollar you're going to get working for whatever company you're
Mm.
working for because somebody else told you you'd be happier. No one else can tell you what's going
Yes.
to make you happy. Your child, who you are as a child, already told you what it takes to make you happy. You chose to
Yes.
ignore it because we're so used to ignoring children.
D. Determination.
Determination,
What are you most determined to achieve in this life?
happiness. Happiness. My
Do you
answers are
have
very
a
simple.
definition?
Happiness.
Yeah, you're fine. Do you have a definition of happiness? What does happiness look like specifically to Spyder?
Happiness is another thing that's a moment, like being the best is.
Mm.
So I just want to accumulate a lot of happy moments. That's it. I want to be able to say that even with all the negative stuff that's going on, all the negativity people experience, and everyone hits it with negatives. The negatives seem to prosper so much more than the positives, and I think it's more of
Mm.
a perception thing.
Hmm.
Because I feel like there's no way the world's give and take. Everything else makes sense. Input, output, cause and effect. So if everything else is split 50-50, so is positivity and
Right.
negativity. We just notice the negatives more.
Right. Has
Like
more of
this
an
is gonna sound
impact.
really
Ugh.
drastic. This is gonna sound terrible, right? But the Twin Towers being built was an amazing feat in itself. The original Twin Towers, when they were built, we ignored that presence. We just said, yeah, we got the
Mm.
Twin Towers. We got plenty of skyscrapers. But you know how
Taking it for
beautiful it is?
granted.
Right? How beautiful it was? But then when they were gone, since 2001 till now, 19 years, going on 19 years, we thought about the
Right.
negative of it. It's been gone for 19 years. How long was it up for? What amazing things happen there every day? How much dope shit
Right.
happened there that didn't get praised, didn't get
So
recognized,
much. Oh
didn't
my
get
god.
accepted? And it's like, all right, cool. You appreciate it for what you have it for because it could be gone. So when you think of simple things like that, I look at the rest of my
Right.
life like, nah, bro, like, cool, you went through what you went through, but like, think about all the dope shit you did
All the
around
good
that.
stuff.
Even before that moment happened, before a negative
Right.
moment happened, there was moments leading up to that. Were they all negative? No, bro, you had a lot of dope shit. So for my whole thing is like,
Right.
no, work on your perception, work on how you view positivity, negativity, work on how you view happiness, and accumulate a lot of happy moments. And whatever makes you happy in that moment, do it because you'll never regret it ever.
Top 3 happiest moments for you.
My niece being born, number one, that'll
Mm.
always take precedent over everything. That'll probably take precedent over my own child being born.
That's deep.
Honestly, that'll probably my niece is everything. My niece being born, the day I got my dog. Hmm, this is tough. I have so many dope things just running
I
through my
feel like
mind
you
right now.
experience a lot of happy moments, so yeah,
Bro,
choosing
I
3 might be tough.
live. No, I live. Like I really do just live.
Yeah.
So there's times where I'm like, yo, that's my happiest moment. It's like, bro, I can give you my happiest moment of today, maybe, but
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I do so many. You know what? Yeah, my happiest moment, my niece being born, the moment I got my dog, like the moment. I haven't been the same since. It's made me
Mm-hmm.
a lot more sensitive, and I love it. Um, the next happiest moment will be the day that I be crowned Mr. Olympia for men's physique.
Wow. Speak
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm gonna just not put a third one there because that's gonna be in the top three.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely. That's
everything
totally
everything
fine.
else besides my niece and my pup will fluctuate in and out.
Yeah.
That Mr. Olympia title, that will we're
Is one
good
of the
there.
things
Once
that won't
that's
change.
that's
Right, right, right.
that's that empty mantle space for that trophy that you're waiting for. So that top three, I'm leaving that
Yes.
empty. You're gonna get two because
So,
until I hit that Mr. Olympia,
do you have it planned? Do you know when you want to go to that competition?
I want to go now.
Mm.
I just gotta qualify. It's about doing things
Yeah.
the right way. So again, I work as if I'm going to die tomorrow, but live
Mm.
understanding that nah, bro, this shit takes time.
Right.
So if I
So
can
that
leave tonight,
overall title that you were talking about earlier in the conversation,
that's
could
the
that
stepping
is that
stone.
one of the things? That's the stepping
That's
stone there.
that's
Okay,
that's the stepping
gotcha.
stone to getting to it. Well,
Hmm.
mind you, I don't have to win the overall. I can still take top two in my class, and that'll be fine. And I can still later on just improve as I go and win the Olympia in the
Yeah,
future.
and that would
But
still
in
be a
my
stepping
head,
stone. Okay.
man, that'll still be a stepping stone. It's just in my head, I want the win of all wins in everything that I do.
Yeah.
So the Olympia title, it's going to be elusive. It's definitely going to be elusive, but it'll be mine.
Yeah.
I'll have it one day, at least one,
I cannot wait to see this happen.
at least one.
That is going to be quite the celebration.
Yeah, if there's a
E.
celebration, I don't.
Enjoyment. How do you go about making sure that you enjoy everything that you do?
It goes back to the first three:
Mm-hmm.
spirit, passion, and youth. Making sure that my spirit is aligned with whatever it is that I'm doing.
Mm.
Making sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm truly passionate about, because chasing your passion isn't as fun as it sounds until you have to do it. Because when you're chasing your own passion, the work gets a lot
Right.
harder. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because you so but then keeping the youthful side of me, making sure that I'm not just saying something's my passion because it looks attractive in the moment, making sure that it really does tie into what 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old Jordan wanted, and the way that
Yes.
Jordan pictured life being. So I enjoy shit because it's like, bro, I do it from a genuine place. I do it from the I just want to see how this goes and what I can do in
Right.
this moment. And even if I suck at first, I'm okay with that because I'm only going to get better. So I'm still going to enjoy it. And I actually just like working hard at everything. I enjoy the
Mm.
work. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the ripping and running and the lack of sleep some days. I enjoy the
Hmm.
long hour. I enjoy it. I'm literally doing what I've always wanted to do. So there's really nothing for me not to enjoy.
Hmm.
Plus, I got dope people, bro. I do everything I do. There's somebody dope doing it with me. So it's never like I go to work. I got three of my coworkers are amazing.
Hmm.
Like amazing. And I work with at least one of them on all of my shifts. So yeah, work is fun. Going to the gym. I go to the gym with my best friends every morning. Most people struggle to do anything with their friends. I get to see my friends
Right.
every day. My
Right.
uh, I have two businesses with my friends. It's there's no way to not enjoy it. You're doing what you want,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing it with people who you genuinely love and who you know also genuinely enjoy it.
Right.
You basically work with a smile on your face all day.
So, to paraphrase, one of the ways that you make sure you enjoy everything is based on who you have chosen to surround yourself with. Now, I was going to wait until after we got through the acronym to ask more about that, but I feel like since you just brought it up, let's go ahead and make it relevant. Before we get to the letter R for resilience, tell me about the people in your life that help you enjoy it the way that you do.
Um, I don't know who to start with. I feel like whoever you pick first
Right.
feels like they
Well, okay,
won.
so last time, right.
My
So last time we had this conversation, we kind of broke it up in categories because I was saying, for anyone that missed it, because you said it like real quick earlier, but aside from what we've talked about thus far with your goals, your personal goals when it comes to strength and Mr. Olympia and whatnot, you are a behavioral analyst. And that is a very big deal. So we have yet to speak on the job that you have outside of your physical strength and training. So we broke it up into categories. We talked about the Vero Mastodon, you know what I'm saying? We talked about Aries
gang. Hold on. Where
Nutrition.
we at? Where we at?
Gang, gang,
You know,
gang,
we got Daryl
gang.
Mastodon gang in the building.
Yes.
My Aries bag's in the house, but yeah, we got Aries.
Aries,
Daryl
yup.
Mastodon, Aries Nutrition, Devro Advanced Behavioral Health is another company that I work for.
Yes.
Um, so those are my three main pushes, right there. But we're going to start with what I do now, mainly, which
Mm-hmm.
is Devro Behavioral Health.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Brittany and Harlan take the cake as the people who make me enjoy that field. I was in PT school at Stockton University, and I was bored out of my mind.
Mm.
And I noticed that Brittany, every time I FaceTimed her, I would FaceTime her at work. And one, besides the fact that she always seemed to have a lot of freedom, I enjoy
Mm.
being able to work and be free. I promised my mom that I would have a job where I don't have to wear a suit and tie and I can come and go as I please.
Yes.
I don't believe in having to wear a suit and tie to be a millionaire. I don't believe in having to fit into the societal norms. You could do whatever it is you want to do and be happy and be successful. And I was like 16. I was like, nah, mom, give me 10 years. I'll be that guy who pulls up to a board meeting in hoodie and joggers while everyone else is in a suit and tie, but you're going to respect me like I'm wearing a suit and tie. Like you have no
Amen.
choice.
Yes.
So seeing Brittany work her job and just have the freedom, even when she was going through whatever she was going through, she never seemed to be tired of going to work.
Mm.
So, and it's in the health field, and at first I felt like healing people had to be on the physical. You break a bone, I heal your bone, you're good. You get a cut, I stitch your cut, you're good.
Hmm.
And it's like, nah, healing people starts with the mental.
Yes.
When you realize how broken you are, a broken bone doesn't hurt as bad as compared to a broken heart or to a broken mentality. So healing people starts from there because there's been plenty of times people who will break a bone and never bounce back the same way. And it's not because the bone's not healed, it's because your mind's not healed from whatever you
Okay.
went through. So that was my thing. So when I got into that, I dove into mental behavioral health and psychiatric medicine, and that's because of Brittany Porter. She didn't push me to do it. She inspired me to want to explore the opportunity. She gave me a lot of good suggestions on companies to apply to, places to start. I happened to start because there's a behavioral mental health hospital down the street from where I'm at right now, where I live,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a 3-minute walk from my house. No, 6-minute walk because my neighborhood's long. But um, so I just applied there, applied to a couple other places. I got denied at the top 2 places that I wanted to go to,
Mm.
and and again, the undeniable part of my life, that'll come back full
Mm-hmm.
circle in a second. So I took a job at the hospital. I'm not going to say their name because screw them. Their system is terrible, and they should. Actually, I'm going to say their name. Northbrook Behavioral Health. You need to be shut
Call them
down.
out.
You need to be
Call
shut
them
down.
out.
I only quit because y'all don't understand how to properly care for your patients and treat them. They're more than a dollar sign. These are innocent people who are struggling, and you don't really care. And it's hard for me to work in a system where no one else cares but me. You kind of get outnumbered, and it makes you hate the job. Um, and it only works because I understand those patients are only there for 3 weeks. And when I realize there's patients who, it's a hospital, they can't keep you forever. When I
Mm.
realized there's group homes and certain facilities that do keep these patients forever, that's when I said, okay, cool, I got to work on the reform of this stuff too, as well as being active in the patients' lives.
Mm.
So, patient care advocacy and behavioral analyst is my 2 titles. Harlan, I met at the hospital, and Harlan had
Yes.
the same mentality and energy about it that I did. He was already in the field just as long as Brittany, doing the same job that she did, and he was working there at the hospital per diem. And just the
Mm.
amount of just confidence that Harlan had in his ability to be a great behavioral analyst and a great behavioral therapist,
Mm.
and against all the odds that he had against him, I was really inspired by him to pursue the field more. And
Wow.
every time he heard about a new company starting out or a really good company hiring, before he would apply, he would tell me to go to apply for the position because he wanted me to have the
Wow.
opportunity before him. And I told him we'll just do it together. And ever since then, we've worked at 2 other companies together. And he, again, I can't, at 30-30, him and I are going to be laying down the groundwork to start our own behavioral health company. We're putting in the process now. We're getting the certifications, the licenses, the degrees, all that stuff out the way. And yeah, so Harlan and I actually talked about it. We're working on the plan to 30-30 have our own company for it. And that's what having amazing people in your life does for you. That's what having somebody
Yes.
who loves you for you and sees your goals for you and not for what the world wants it to be, and they push you to go be you. Having that, I wouldn't be doing. I would probably still be doing it. I wouldn't be as good at it as I am now, and I'm on my
Wow.
road to being great, and I feel it.
Mm.
So that's behavioral health. Brittany and Harlan, they're the 2 people who get that 110%.
Yes.
Besides the mental health things that I experienced in the real world, pushing me there as well.
Right. Right.
Vero Mastodon, there's too many of us. There's about 5 billion of us at this point. I think we run the world in my mind. You guys hear Gymshark, you hear Nike, all these other whack companies that are trash and don't care
Yep.
about people. Vero Mastodon, we're not that. You know what I mean? We're a company built and forged through people's pains and their struggles. And
Mm.
you realize you come together and you have a lot of common pain with a lot of people. And
Yes.
when you realize what you guys can do by uplifting each other and pushing each other, it's kind of amazing. So it's
Mm.
definitely it's an apparel company, but it's so much more than that. And that started with Chico Calcitanian Bradley. No, that's not his real name. I just call him that. Um, he was coming to
I'll
talk to me in
never
the
get
gym.
over calcitanium.
Yeah, Chico Calcitanian Bradley, one of the greatest men God's ever put on this planet. Um, he came to me talking to me in the gym while I was posing, and you guys just heard how serious I take bodybuilding. So he was trying to talk to me while I was posing, and I didn't notice him. When I'm posing, I picture myself on the Olympia stage. So
Okay.
he was standing right here next to me, and I didn't notice him. And when in my mind I was done posing for the judges,
Right.
the gym came back into the picture, and I
Right.
noticed a
Right.
grown
Right.
ass man standing next to me. I'm like, yo, all right, whatever, you're here. And he tried to smile, and I don't think I was ready for it. So he walked away, and he came
Yeah.
back like a few minutes later and introduced himself. And we started laughing. It was a vibe. He had a couple of people who were really dope, man, around him. AJ Wells, Bernard White, Marbelli, Melina Martinez. And they kind of just, without asking you to join them and be a part of them, they were
Right.
literally like, hey, yo, bro, you're strong. Can you help us? Hey, you know what? We see you're doing this. Can you help? And it was literally like, oh, what are you into? And then, hey, you should come party with us and hang out. All right, cool.
Hmm.
And I was hearing about them for a couple of years. Everyone told me to go follow them and chase clout and hop on their bandwagon. I'm not that guy. I was
Right.
like, no,
No.
I got Light and Bray and Harlan and Miranda here. I'm good. And Bray, I'm good with my team. I have
Right.
my home team, right? But when we traded gym for a little bit and we saw, no, they're dope and they're doing it right and they care about people. And everyone's
Mm.
wearing these Vera Mastodon clothes, not to dick ride and not to clout chase. They're wearing it because they connected with an individual in that company or a couple individuals
Wow.
who made them believe in something they didn't believe in before. And since I
Mm.
push for that, how could you not at least explore that?
Right.
And at the time, I was looking for a clothing sponsor anyway. I was thinking about the idea of maybe making my own Spyder Fit line of shirts. And when I
Mm.
talked to the company, and I realized they had a bigger goal and a bigger purpose, and it's
Yeah.
not about the money. I could care less about a dollar. They had a
Mm.
bigger purpose. And in my head, it's like I would be selfish to start my own apparel, to start my own that, and be their competition. You would be
Right.
selfish to do that because they're in it for the same reasons you are. You don't need to have your name
Yeah.
attached to it. You don't need to have the recognition. You can still put the work in and change lives and let something bigger than you be the cause of it. And when it's bigger than you, it remains that way and spreads faster.
Mm. Mm.
So I had my first
Mm.
meeting with them a couple months ago, maybe back in October. And ever since then, it's been family, it's been genuine love. I've been through a lot of ups and downs in a very short period of time, and they helped me through all of it. But on the flip side, I'm there for them, and it's a genuine friendship where, yeah,
Right.
we got to go to work and do the work, but trust and believe when it's done, bro, we're going to be fit. We're going to have these cookouts. We're going to have these barbecues. We're going to be a family. We're going to get to know each
Mm.
other's lives. We'll go back to where you're from. We'll fly out. I'm flying out to Houston next week. Actually, go hang out with a couple people. You'll fly out and go see each other all over the world, wherever you want to go. Stuff like that. That it showed you that family is bigger than your blood ties. So that
Yes.
was dope. So Vero Mastodon, that's a gang for life. Uh,
Mm.
y'all will see us. It's one of those things like you'll
They
feel me when you
absolutely
feel me
will.
on that. And then
Yes.
Aries Nutrition, my supplement sponsor, my company. There's a store, Aries Nutrition, that I work for,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm one of the first male athletes. The owner's name is Pat. Polish dude, bro, super Polish, super big, strong. But one of these people who was just like, "Hey, this is what I love to do, and I can't do anything else besides what I love." And I
Mm.
see that you love it, and I love that you love it. So let's love this shit together. What do you say?
Amen. That
And it's like, yeah, why do I need? And, but
was a lot of love.
he he has hella respect and love from all the top bodybuilders and all the top fitness people in the industry, where he'll pay for them to fly out to his shop and just talk to us, have seminars. He puts all your social media idols who you see in fitness, who you want to meet and talk to. If you tell Pat you want to meet them, I guarantee you he'll make them come out because he cares more
Wow.
about the people getting what they want out of fitness versus him
Right.
getting what he wants out of them. He's one of those people. If you come and tell him, like, hey, I'm really struggling with X, Y, and Z, you might walk out with a bag filled with $500 worth of supplements, but you probably paid 200 for it because he believed in you wanting to be better. He's that guy.
Wow.
Coronavirus hit, everything shut down. He opened his store up and was selling things for almost half price just so people could stay healthy and fit. And when you see
He
somebody
sounds so
doing that,
caring. That's incredible. Yeah.
where he'll call people and be like, know what, hey, I know you're struggling to find a gym, but I heard there's a gym not too far from you that's open. If you want, I can talk to the owner so you can go. He's that guy. He's that guy. Where if you're having a bad day, you call him. He's stopping everything to make sure you're good.
That's beautiful.
So again, he's another one. He's another one. Yeah, you without him, you can't be. But the odd part is, it's all in New Jersey. You forget that your state's really not as big as it is, especially New Jersey.
Right. Right.
So I partnered with Aries first. Because of Aries, I met a woman named Jamira. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. Jamira's a part of Vero, and I didn't know.
Oh wow. Okay.
You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? So that was an easy
Hmm.
segue. So everyone who I met in Vero, when I told her, she's like, I've been to them. Pat already knew them because his wife is in bodybuilding and she's friends with
Mm.
Jamira. And so Pat and Vero are already cool. I never put the link together. I was just on the
Such a
outs because I
small
was just young.
world.
So it's like, nah, bro, everything that I love is also connected into each other because of Brittany. Brittany's coach is Melina's coach from Vero and he works with Vero.
Wow.
So Brittany,
Right.
and it's just like, yo, all this stuff came together because it's what I loved. And the
Yeah.
people who I loved were also doing it. So it's one of those things where everything, it's why I get to do what I do. It's why I enjoy everything. Everything I do it out of love, and I'm surrounded by people who love it as well.
That was the perfect bring it back around. You go ahead. You better do it. You better be the best interviewee ever. That was beautiful.
Brittany has the greatest interview of all time. I'll let y'all have
She
y'all
is
interviews after
so.
this. She had the greatest interview of all time.
Thank
Period.
you, Kanye. She's just so dope. She was so open about. Okay.
Period, bro. Period. I'm gonna praise my
So,
sister till the day I die, man.
amen. So back to our acronym then. Now that you literally wrapped that with the perfect, most beautiful bow on top, how does Spyder define resilience? And when has he had to exercise that resilience?
Um, Resilience for me just means not quitting. It's very simple. The definitions are simple. This literally whatever the dictionary tells you it is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But to show or to feel that resilience, I don't think you need to be resilient every day. A lot of times,
Hmm.
resilience does mean walking away from things.
Hmm.
It takes more strength to walk away from certain things than it does
Hmm.
to stick in it. But the time I had to be the most resilient during that 10-year period where my dad didn't have a job. You really,
Mm.
as a kid, I never asked for anything to begin with, but it's not like my parents weren't providing me with shit either. So that's why you don't have to ask for things. A lot of kids ask for shit because they see other kids having it. I wasn't hanging out with the
Right.
kids all the time, so I couldn't see what they all had. I didn't care. I was cool with
Right.
whatever I had. I wasn't the kid who wanted the Jordans. I didn't need the new video games. I didn't play video games. It's just give me a ball, give me a bat, put me outside. I will be happy and fine.
Hmm.
Right. So when they lost everything, my parents, that is, to me, it's like I didn't lose anything.
Mm.
Y'all did. Because again, just put me outside. I'm gonna go do what I want. But when you realize, like, bro, you're 15. This is how reality hit, and it does impact you. It does affect you. Your parents are crying every night. Mental health is through the roof. Alcohol is being consumed at an irregular fucking rate. Um, no one seems to be happy. You're not even happy. You're going through your own depression that you're just ignoring.
Mm.
But you can't quit. So college scholarships got to happen somehow because they can't pay for it anymore. Do whatever it takes. Cool. You won Olympic conference. You got that. Resilience. You could quit. You didn't. Um, word. Well, we need money by any means necessary. Go get it. Yeah, you can go do the illegal shit you grew up watching and seeing and you knew was there. Nah, bro, that doesn't make you happy. You gotta stay true to who
Mm.
you are through all this shit. So go do what you want. Started my own personal training company while I was 16.
Mm.
Why? Because I knew what I love to do. All right, I love to help people. I love to train people. I love to be fit. I love to be active. So I'm gonna make everyone else around me active. Kind of like
Right.
when Brittany said, like, I just need to move. It was one of
Yeah.
those. And I felt that every time somebody passed away in my life, first thing I would do was go for a run or go play basketball or go to the gym.
Mm.
Why? I need to move. The therapy from moving alone is a lot.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
was just one of those. So for 10 years, the last 10 years, bro, it was just every day was a resilient move. And every day was one of those checkpoint or check mark days where it's like, no, you got to make sure you do this.
Mm.
These are the things that matter. These are the things that are going to guide you through it. Pay attention, observe, learn from those around you. But you can't quit. You can't settle. You said you were going to do these things. You have to do it, or you're never going to be happy because you live the way society told you to live and not the way you told you to live.
Hmm.
So the resilience every day to just do what I want to do and make sure I'm successful at it or I'm winning at it. Make sure at the very least you break even some days, not
Mm.
quitting on it. That's just 10 years of resilience. But my parents did 10 years. Fuck, I'm 26, so they did 26 years of resiliency to raise me. So who am I to,
Right.
not be the same?
Similar to Brittany's interview. I love that between Brittany and Harlan, you guys are friends with such similar, if not the same passions. So we have started this interview speaking on the things that you are passionate about, the goals that you have in reference to health and nutrition. But your work as a behavioral analyst, your work in that field is. I noticed in Brittany's interview, I said it's more important. And I was just being my own worst critic and thinking the term more important doesn't necessarily fit there. Because your own individual and personal mental health in connection to your physical health and staying active, like you said. This is just me nitpicking my own words.
I
I
got
didn't
you.
say something wrong, But the field that you are in terms of your career, is something so, so valuable that I think many people in the world, I think society, they have a terrible habit of sweeping it under the rug. Similar to what you just said about Northbrook.
Yeah, they don't care about
Right.
patients. They care about the money
Right.
behind it. Yeah.
So the level at which you can be the most caring person in the world, you can be caring and you can be generous and you can be thoughtful toward the people that you feel deserve your care and your generosity and your thoughtfulness. But then you have people that unfortunately cannot express or feel or respond or operate the same way that we do. Those
Yeah.
people do not deserve to be treated any less.
Fuck
So we
no.
have people like you in a field where you are putting a lot of spirit and passion and youthfulness and determination and enjoyment and resilience. You're giving that to people that are otherwise neglected, unfortunately, um, in many cases, in more cases than none. So tell me some more about your career and your position and your thoughts and goals about that job.
Well, right now I work for a company called Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health, ABA. I just actually got that title. I was an RBT first, which is a registered behavioral technician. I'm now an ABA. Now what I do is I really just focus on analyzing the behaviors of people on the spectrum. Brittany works more with mental behaviors. I work more with developmental disorders now. I'm
Right.
more so wanna. There was nothing you could do about this. You're here, and you act this
Right.
way
Right. Right. Okay.
involuntarily 98% of the time. What you're doing and the way you're acting, the way you're thinking, the things that are going through your mind aren't what you should be at 54, 37, 29, or even 9 be doing,
Right.
thinking, or saying, or carrying on about, but you are. The concept of regular social norms of being told no and how to process a no, being the timing of which you can do things, how you communicate with people, the way you communicate, uh,
Hmm.
hurting yourself and not hurting yourself, things like that is what I work with and try to analyze and either curb behavior, stop them completely, reinforce the positive behaviors on it. And that's the stuff that I do. And you get a lot of parents who have kids who have autism or Asperger's, things along those lines. They don't know how to raise them because they can be violent some days. They can be really emotional. If you're a single parent or even both parents really struggle a lot of times. Group homes are a viable option. Behavioral facilities are a viable option. So when I realize that, and there's kids and adults who live in these environments but still get mistreated,
Yeah.
because the name group home gets clumped, all right? And Brittany worked in a group home. I worked in a group home. Our patients are nowhere near the same.
Right.
So Brittany's patients are a little bit more cognitive. You could tell them, "Hey, yo, bro, you better not hit such and such." But if they hit such and such, it's because they chose to hit such and such because they didn't care
Right.
about what you said. So
Right.
you need to work around that. That's a choice. If I tell my patients not to hit such and such, I'm not even 100% sure they even comprehended what I fully said such and
Yeah.
such.
Yeah. It's different.
So
Right.
when they hit such and such, it's like, how do you get mad at that? Like, bro, you didn't want. If you were able to think the way I think, you would have never done it. I
Yeah.
don't. You're not even aware. They know they did it. They are smarter than people give them credit for a lot of
Oh,
times.
absolutely.
They're very instinctive, which I feel like they keep a lot of their animalistic instincts, and they
Okay.
react to things the way they feel, not the way that they process it, because they don't fully process things all the time. But it's a demographic that gets left on, but they get abused so bad. They're getting sodomized. Some are getting raped. Some are getting assaulted. Some are getting neglected by not being fed and beat. And when you see it, it's like, bro, you beat on an autistic kid. Yeah, he might be 54 years old, but when you asked him how old he was, he said 12, and you punched him, or you molested her, or you sexually assaulted them. And it's like, why do these things? You wouldn't do it to a normally functioning human being. So why would you do it to someone who can't defend themselves against it? Like, and when you think about just that sick, weird shit that people are willing to do, you need to put a me or a Brittany or a Harlan in those places because you just cut back on that happening again. You have these patients
Yes.
who are in group homes sometimes their entire lives with no family ever coming to see them. And the only sense of what the family is to them is that random staff who gets in and out of that house who assaults them. He's like, bro, nah,
Right.
screw that. I'll be your family now. I got you. Like, you straight, bro. You never gonna have to go through that again. As long as I'm here, you ain't gonna have to go through it. I don't care if I gotta
Right.
work a 24-hour shift in this facility to make sure you're good. I'll do that. And it's those
You
things.
said something the last time we spoke. You said something. I mean, you say plenty of things that change who I am. You say plenty of things that I take in, and I'm like, all right, let me make sure I apply that. But one thing truly stood out and impacted me greatly. We spoke about this same topic, and I mentioned the people in that field that aren't doing the right thing. And I was over here, I don't know if it was my feminine side, being more emotional and sensitive or what it was, but I'm really riled up over the concept of like, why do these people have these jobs? Why are they
It's pure
allowed to
humanity.
exist in this realm? And you said something that was just the total like left field. I never would have thought to break it down and to understand it the way that you did. Do you recall what you said about being in? Yeah, yeah. Tell me some more about
It's
that.
it's still just a job at the end of the day. So it's no different than the guy who works at McDonald's or Wawa or whatever random stores and retail shops. You're going to get your bad employees. You're going to get your coworkers who cut corners. You're going to get the person who clocks in late and leaves early and calls out all the time. You're going to get the guy who doesn't care if your sandwich hit the ground before he wrapped it and gave it to you. You're going to get those. You're going to get those. But to leave companies because of that, sometimes you have to. Again, there's more strength in leaving certain things when you realize you're
Yes.
stuck. Leaving Northbrook was a choice.
Mm.
I didn't feel like I had to leave. I just realized that I'm not going to be able to benefit a larger party or a larger group if I stay. So I got to go and
Mm.
pursue it on a larger scale. But there's some companies like no matter what, it could be the best company in the world at what it does. You're still going to have trash employees. Do you quit and just leave all trash employees there? It doesn't change anything. So you got to suck it up and be like, no, I'll work here. It's no different than the guy who never does work. The company never expects him to do the work. They know he doesn't do the work. But if you're the guy who shows up or the girl who shows up and does the work, you put yourself in that position, you go above and beyond, but not because you're chasing the check or recognition. You're doing it because of what you love and how you naturally are. You're going to
Yes.
get noticed. You're the next future vice president. You're the next future CEO. When you have a natural hunger and thirst for wanting to be good at what you do and caring about the quality of work you provide, you are the
Mm.
next leader in that field, whether you see it happening at that job or not.
Right.
But maintaining your integrity and how you work is so important because you can't let bad coworkers change how you're going to handle your customers. The
Yeah.
customer doesn't have to care about what y'all are going through.
Yeah.
They're there to get their sandwich. They're there to pick out their hoodie. They're there to get their shoes. They're there to have whatever service it is you're providing. It's your job to provide the best service.
Right. Right.
So when you do
You
that, the
said,
company's going to take. It gets noticed. You'll be all right.
yeah. You said two words that stood out to me as you were explaining: natural and integrity. They go hand in hand. It is natural for me to be an integral person. So, in this particular scenario, using this as an example, when working in the mental health field, knowing that I'm working alongside people who it is not natural for them to have integrity and treat those people with respect, with care, and with love. But for me over here, adjacent to that person, it's 100% natural for me to not see you for your ability or lack thereof, or your understanding of the world and lack thereof. I'm just wired to care and to love and to help and to be compassionate. So that's like the thing that those CEOs, et cetera, that HR is going to see. Okay, it's natural for her to be a good employee. It is not natural for this person who we just caught on the security
It
cam doing some shit,
it's
you know?
it's it's one of those where it always looks like the bad guys winning or having the most fun, and the good guys are
Mm,
just finishing last. The nice guy does not finish last in life.
mm-mm.
Life is a marathon. It's a marathon. So whoever starts the race off strong, cool. You came out the gate strong. Congratulations.
Not a
How are you going to finish
sprint.
this? So it might look like, oh well, he always takes off and he's still getting his paycheck and he's never getting reprimanded. The company doesn't believe in him. Companies
Right.
still have a quota. They're not worried about him. They know they have some bad seeds in there. But the reason why your boss might be harder on you or more strict on you or you have less freedom to be lazy at work is because they see somebody who can actually do something worthwhile
You've
in
proven
this.
yourself as more
And
valuable.
right, so your expectations aren't equal to theirs.
Right.
Your
Right.
expectations have to be at a higher standard because you should be at a higher standard. That's where you belong. And
Mm,
before you can sit here and say, I deserve to be the CEO of these XYZ companies, bro, if you can't handle the expectations of whatever it is you're doing now at a higher level, how are you going to expect to handle it at the top? So, yeah, they're going to give you
right.
these tests and these challenges. You better be happy they gave you the test and challenge. I had a conference call last night where they told me they need me to work more overtime hours.
Mm,
There's 13 employees, and you told me I'm the only one who needs to work more overtime. But then when I look back, I'm also the only one getting recognized for what I do. I'm also the only one
yeah.
who's in the position that I'm in. Word, give me the overtime hours. It's paying off. You're
That's
not saying it
awesome, and
because it's
congratulations
not
on that.
right. More work is never a punishment. More work
Yeah.
is just a reward in my eyes. Give me more work. I'm okay.
So prior to going to school for these things, prior to working in this field, what exposure have you had to mental health, the issue of mental health? You already mentioned your conversation or your experience with your father. Um, was there anything else that truly helped to steer you in this direction regarding your career?
Um, for a minute, I thought I would have been in drug and alcohol counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in my family on my mom's side has an addiction problem.
Mm,
There's not a single one who doesn't. And a lot of times growing up, my mom was just telling me a story the other day. A lot of times growing up, I was sick a lot as a kid. So I always had prescription medicines. And when you would go take your prescription, the pills that were in that bottle at 12 o'clock p.m. are not in that bottle at 1 o'clock p.m. It's a different
mm,
random pill because somebody chose to take your drugs and go get high. And now you're back in the hospital for 2 weeks because you can't breathe or this isn't fixing and whatever it is, right? So cool.
wow.
A lot of overdoses were happening. Grew up in a house with drug addicts. My parents drink, and I don't drink at all. I've never had alcohol before, and it's not because of that. It's just more so it never looked cool to me.
Yeah.
When everyone else does it because it looks cool, it's because they saw somebody who they looked up to doing it. I
Mm,
was only surrounded by people who I didn't want to be anything alike. I wanted nothing in
mm,
common with them. So like, I'm not doing it just because like y'all do it, and I don't like the way it looks on y'all. So why would I do it for myself? Um,
wow.
so seeing that, I'm like, I'll probably end up being drug and alcohol. When I thought about switching to mental health, like I have a relation with that, but it sunk to me more. Why are these people doing drugs and alcohol? Not the fact that you're doing it, but why? What led you to think that this is how you want to live your life? And I care more about the mentality.
Right.
Um, then I had a really close friend, or a cousin actually, but he's more like a blood brother to me than he is my cousin. We did our entire lives together. We grew up next to each other in the same house with each other and across the street from each other our entire lives. We were never more than 30 or 40 yards away from each other until he went to the Air Force. Where in the Air Force, his social issues came about because my aunt was very socially abusive to him. Never let him
Mm.
experience it as a little kid. He goes to do a sport. The moment she sees him enjoying it, you're done that sport. You're not going back. The rest of the kids in school could get in little trouble, little random things. He does anything, well, you can't hang out with those kids ever again, and no, you're not allowed to have friends over the house. If I will go to the house because I was his only friend, I'll be there for 20 minutes. His mom would just be like, "Yeah, Jordan, go home. He's not allowed to have friends today." I was like, "Friends? I'm his cousin. You're my aunt. What?
Yeah.
Home? We live together. What are you talking about?" Like, and it was stuff like that. So he never got to socially, he never got to date
Right.
anybody. He never got to do any of the stuff that most people just go through, socially acclimating to life.
Yeah.
That develop, he's on the spectrum for Asperger's, which he just found out. So he had that social anxiety, which led to him having a lot of depression and mental health issues. And being the person who knew this and saw this in him since I was 3, I've been able to peep it, or at least know he had these issues. Got into a lot of fights in school because I'm just trashing people who were just disrespecting him,
Mm.
people who were
Yeah.
bullying him, physically assaulting him, and not caring. I was always that person of I'm not going to just watch you do something wrong to somebody. I'll stand up even if I have to get in trouble for it. I would. So I got kicked out of school
Right.
a lot. I got sent home a lot because screw it, bro. I watched what you just did to my cousin. I have to punch you in the face because you can't just
Yeah.
they can't just slide. And then he goes in the Air Force, and when you think he's about to get away from it, he tries to kill himself. He tried to kill himself because he just couldn't understand why he couldn't be like everybody else.
Mm.
Why when he tries to communicate, it takes him 5 minutes to say how he's doing versus everyone else's I'm good.
And those are
He
details that we did not have last time. I didn't. I
yeah.
didn't realize that
If you
aspect.
ask him how he's doing, it might take him a good 2 minutes to tell you good
Wow. Mm.
because he's in his brain. His first thought is you don't really care. His next thought is hurry up and give them an answer. His third thought is don't make the answer stupid. So his fourth thought is well, how can we make this answer not stupid but more impressive? Okay, well now you've been sitting here for 5 minutes and they're still waiting on an answer. They don't care anymore, so I'm just not going to answer. And then you walk away, and by the time he goes to answer, you don't even care,
Right.
right? I was like 5 when I realized, bro, you're just going to take a longer time to answer. I'll just wait for your answer.
Yeah.
All right, what else am I doing? Or if I realize you're struggling, I might try to guide you into the answer, but I'm not about to
Yeah.
just dismiss you like you don't matter. I'm not going to treat you like shit. And if I do feel like you have an issue, why does people feel like, well, he has an issue? Let's exploit it for what?
Right. Ugh.
So people used to try to like set him up to look stupid. I just never liked it. So he dealt with that his whole life. So if I know I didn't like it, I can only imagine how he felt. So he tried to kill himself. And when he told me, he apologized to me because he said he felt like he pissed me off because he tried to kill himself and it was a sign of weakness or whatever it was that he's thinking. And it bothered me more than like, bro, not that you didn't come to me, but you thought that I would be disappointed in you
Mm.
for it. And it made me self reflect a lot like, nah, you could still be doing better. Everyone you punched in the face, it didn't have the impact you thought it would. Every time you told him it was great, it didn't have the impact you thought it would. Every time
Wow.
you try to show him his own dopeness, it didn't have the impact you thought it would. But you don't quit. You just do better. You do more. You
Yeah.
try something different. So that was one thing. And then my older brother tried to kill himself after years of just mental issues of hiding who he really was, covering up
Mm.
his identity. Bro, we grew up in Camden. It is
Yeah.
what it is. You know what I mean? And as unique as my city is, we don't really have a lot of copycats. Not everybody follows each other. You are who you are.
Yeah.
So imagine being in a city where everyone gets to be uniquely them, but you have the select few who just don't, who aren't able to do that freely.
Right.
So my older brother was that way. He wasn't able to fully just be himself without ridicule. And
Mm.
because the positions and the roles he played in life and who he was naturally, the ridicule for who else he really fully was, it didn't coincide. It was very hard to have both. So he chose at
Wow.
least being able to impact and help others and give himself to others and take care of others. He buried himself in the process.
Mm.
And it hit a point where as an adult, it just broke out on him and he tried to kill himself. And he ended up in a mental facility for 3 years. And I thought he was dead for 3 years. For 3 years, I thought my older brother was actually dead. The last I heard was, yeah, such such did X, Y, and Z, and he was rushed to the hospital. Okay, now he tried to kill himself, but there was no words, no contact, never saw him again, nothing, nothing. And he sent like 3 or 4 letters to a couple people who I know, apologizing for his actions of attempting the suicide. And he's like, I don't know how I'm going to go on living in this world anymore. And that was it. I heard nothing for 3 years. But they were trying to call family. No one answered. No one would talk about it. No one would tell me
Mm.
anything. I don't know why it was me. Didn't get any information, but I didn't. So for 3 years, I thought my older brother was dead. And then one day he
Oh my
called
God.
me, and I knew I didn't have his number saved. A random number called me, and it was a moment that I was already talking and thinking about him that day.
Mm.
I'm like, damn, bro, this would be such a dope day for my older brother to be alive and be able to see this, like, be here. And an hour later, when I'm by myself, I get a phone call, and my heart stopped. And I was like, why do I feel this is my brother? Everything told me it's my brother. And I answered the phone. I was like, is this Jordan? And I just started crying. I heard his voice. I knew it was him. And he let me know where he was at. He was in a mental facility. He just felt like he had to go take care of himself. And he had to go do
Wow.
what he needed to do to find himself. And he spent a 3 year journey in mental facilities, a couple throughout the state and the East Coast, trying to help himself get to where he needed to get to. And those experiences made it clear, like, bro, it don't matter how close you are to these people or how much love you give them or all that you try, sometimes
Yep.
it's just not good enough because they don't feel it the way that you think they should or the way they want to. But you can't quit. And in my head, I feel like maybe I'm not connecting with you because I'm not exposed to your world enough. I don't have enough knowledge on your world. I don't.
Mm.
But before I let one of you successfully kill yourselves or you take it from this planet, it's worth a shot for me to see how deep into your world I can go and how
Yes.
much about you I can understand and connect with. Where when you struggle to communicate, you might not have to struggle to communicate because I don't have to struggle to understand.
Yes.
And it was one of those things. So it made it easier for me to fall into it, into the passion of mental health, and then just my own mental health struggles. I had to go to a therapist at 18, bro. I went to an expensive ass college that no one could afford, and got kicked out of school in the middle of a semester, bro. Like, I had to take my finals in February so I could be out of school by March. Everyone else got to stay till June. I got kicked out in March, like shit like that. Uh, Being black in an all white school where you got called nigger all the time, and it was just one of those things. Who would raise their kid here? So you have resentment towards your parents where you come home and tell them this is what I'm dealing with, and y'all think because there's white people here who are not drug addicts that it's a difference for me. These white people are drug addicts too. They're on heroin, not coke, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we have crackheads, they have heroin addicts, bro. You put me in the same world, but I'm exposed to it on a level that I can't fathom or try to tolerate because I'm
Yeah.
just one of the handful of black kids in an all white school and racist teachers, racist principals, and when you call them out for it, it only affects you negatively. Nothing gets done to them. And then the family dynamic you grow with, it's everyone has trauma from their childhood that they don't deal with. So whatever
Yes.
trauma I had, I didn't deal with it. So it came out in rage. It came out as anger. It came out as the angry black guy complex, which it wasn't. It was, bro, I'm a child fucked up. I need help.
Yeah.
No one said shit. No one cared. Besides my brother, my older brother who did try to kill himself, he was always somebody who was 110% always trying to help me mentally stay level and always trying
Good.
to keep me. He peeped it in me because I think he saw it in himself.
Right.
Because he lived in the dark before I ever saw the dark. So he knew what the darkness looked like.
Wow. Okay.
It's like that Bane quote that he said in Batman, where you merely
Mhm.
adopted the darkness, but I was born in it.
Yep.
It was one of those. He's 9 years older than me. Of course, he knows more about this than I do. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
my track coach one day, I broke a hurdle in practice, which was regular for me. When I got mad, I would just slam a hurdle and let it destroy itself. And he's like, "Yo, don't come back to practice till you go see this therapist. It's my personal therapist. I need you to go see him. I see the pain you're in. I see what you're going
Wow.
through. I see how
Wow.
hard you're working to hide it and maintain life, but it's not working for you. And before I try to have you divulge your life to me, I want you to try therapy first. Do not come back to this practice until you've done at least 3 sessions."
I was going to ask who introduced you when you were 18.
Yeah, I was 18. My track coach forced
Wow.
me. Forced me. I could not come back to track coach. Coach Hirschblond. Brian Hirschblond, you saved my life. And I
Wow.
will randomly message him this once a year. Randomly, I see him on Instagram, and I
Yeah.
just message him, "You saved my life." He never replies. He reads it and never replies, and it's amazing to
Yeah.
me. But he
Wow.
gets it. He's one of the people who just gets it. I know he gets it. So I went to therapy, and going to the therapist, everyone's kind of reluctant at first. You don't want to be there. You don't want to do it. But
Yeah.
the therapist figured out that I'm a technician. I like I like form. I like details. I have an attention to detail. I like technique. I like things to be, even if raw speed is one thing that everyone's blessed with. Running
Mhm.
form is something everyone can master. And if my hard work beats your talent, I win. And when the therapist realized that, the therapist would give me technical
Love
tasks
that.
to work on mentally, things that involved a reshaping and a consistent work and a methodical, tedious work ethic. He realizes how I like to
Oh,
work,
that's so beautiful.
so he challenged my mind in those ways. And being in that, it helped me understand me better and challenge others in the same. So those are the experiences, just some that
Ugh.
I went through. But it was definitely my dad, my cousin, and my brother's mental state that hit me the hardest and made me realize like, nah, bro, because my dad almost didn't go to therapy, my brother almost didn't go, my cousin almost didn't go,
Mm,
and I actually went before all three. I went before every single one of them. I was the first one to go,
right.
and when I realized like, nah, bro, this shit works, they're not going to believe it works because they've never been. But if you could
They have to
subliminally
feel
just
it for
be that
themselves.
therapist for them,
Yes.
if you could be that for them, they might not ever have to go to therapy for them to be in therapy with you. It didn't work because I was just too young to know. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was too. I was taking what I learned in my therapy sessions and trying to use it with them, and
Right.
it's not cookie cutter. So I had to dive headfirst into it.
Yeah.
I had to. I had no choice
Because the way
because
that your therapist, in a very specialized way, understood that you liked to be technical and logical and, precise, you like those
yeah,
tedious tasks and whatnot, that same thing is not going to work for your father or your brother.
yeah.
I
Or
understand.
the
Wow.
others in my life who I realized were going to experience. It was one of these things that you can't run from. Everyone knows somebody, or everyone is that person who wants to take their life. Everyone. It's something that you know either is in you or in someone close to you, and we all experience it. So before it gets too bad, how about we all learn about it and educate ourselves on it?
Yes.
At least that way, you might be able to save a life by saying the one sentence someone needed to hear that day. And it might be a complete stranger who
Yes.
you've never met, but I could say one word or say a sentence, or I can look at you and realize, oh, now you're
Yes.
going through this. You're going through something right now, and you need this hug. You need someone to talk to. You need life spoken into you because today could be your last day. Because I know what the last day looks like. I know
Yeah.
the odds of a person on their last day now. And being able to say that, it's I'll never leave the mental health field. I don't care how big of a bodybuilder I become.
Oh, yeah, you
I
can't.
don't
You
care how
can't.
many trillions zero mass on Aries nutrition makes me. I will never leave mental health field.
You
Ever.
cannot. It needs you entirely too badly.
I need it.
Now, this is amen. This is a testament to us being here, us having this interview right now. Every transition, every segue has been perfect. It's been seamless, and you undoubtedly you've brought everything full circle to points that I was absolutely about to make. Um, I wanted to round out our interview by speaking on your Instagram and the way that you've been using it. You do motivational speaking in the form of these IGTV videos. They are very powerful and impactful. You are extremely passionate and direct in the things that you say. Like, I listen to them and I feel like you are not in my phone screen. You are sitting at a desk, like across from me, speaking directly to me. You feel very strongly about getting those points into your viewers' heads. What birthed that? What gave you the idea, the inspiration to start using your platform in this way?
Just paying forward everything that was given and instilled in me. I'm an analogies and a mantra person. I believe that you have to have certain things you live by. You have to have certain things that ground you when you say them or think of them or do them.
Mm,
So I take a lot of what grounds me in those moments and what settles me and helps me stay going or keep going. I just say it out loud on camera. I say it to other people. I say it everywhere I go because you don't know who's going to help. And if nothing else, at least I said it and I put it out there. It might not help you now, but it might replay in your head at a random moment when you need it the most. And it was this that the idea of if you don't put it out there, they might not ever get it. So this is what saved you. So why can't you just at least, even if no one sees the video, I don't care how many people see it. It's just more that I be
yeah,
like, it's
yeah,
out there. It's
yeah,
out there, and
absolutely.
you'll find it when it's meant for you to find it. So
Exactly.
that's what made me do it. But also, it's like, bro, I had a lot of help to be who I
Yeah.
am. I had a lot of people encourage me and push me forward, and just put a lot of just dope wisdom and knowledge into me.
Mm,
It'll be selfish. You can't say you want to help people. The best part about helping people is just passing on what helped you. So you can't say you want to help
yes.
people and then hold everything that helped you selfishly to yourself. You have to
It gets
relinquish it. You
nowhere
have to
that
give
way.
it. Yeah.
Right.
So you have to help people. So that's just what I naturally gravitate towards, and I believe in paying it forward. So I just speak on whatever's been instilled in
Mm-hmm.
me.
So can I remind you of something you said? Well, there were two. There were two. There were two. Do you happen to remember them specifically?
Macro patience, micro work ethic.
All right, that one's yours, and then I've got mine. I've got the one that I'm like, oof, this right here, and then I'm glad you remembered that one verbatim.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are those two terms? What do they mean to you?
I still think it was Gary V who said it first. Oh, you disappeared. Okay. I still think it was Gary V who said it first. Um, It's just an idea of macro patience and micro work ethic means you need to understand that everything takes time. Everything is going to require a lot of work and patience. Nothing happens overnight. So you can't beat yourself up when you don't see what you want to see and whatever you're working towards right away. The results come meticulously. The results come just gradually over time. And we overlook a lot of our small victories and our rewards. So we need to be patient with ourselves till we get to that pedestal we're trying to get to. But macro patience and micro work ethic is you need to also understand that you're not promised tomorrow and that you're not promised to even fulfill your goal until its fruition. So you have to act like you have to achieve it today. You have to work and push yourself as if it's happening right now, as if what I do today guarantees that by the end of this day, I would have achieved my goal. And then you do that every single day until your goal is achieved. Because one day you're going to say it and you're going to simply be right. And that's that. So you have to understand, you have to work your absolute hardest. You have to bust your balls. You have to bust your ass. You have to break your neck sometimes to get what you want. You have to put in the due diligence. You have to lose sleep. You have to make the sacrifices as if you will never, as if tomorrow's not promised. But when you're done, you need to sit back and kind of realize, cool, there's more work to be done and I will get it done. But this does take time. I need to let this grow. I need to let this cultivate and mature fully. You can't rush the process. So that's macro patience with micro work ethic. Can you come back now? I feel lonely.
When you go on his Instagram, people, do you see it? Do you see it? It's right it's right there.
I record the videos whenever I feel them, and then whenever I'm done, little chopping and editing them, I post it
Yes.
when I feel it's resonating inside of me. Now, it was one of these like, all right, we got to post the content on Wednesday and again on a Thursday. It's like, nah, bro, post it when you feel it
Yo.
because, and
Wow.
that's why like I stopped. I have a series of videos that are just going in order,
Yes.
and then once I'm done that series, I stop. I let
Yes.
myself experience life again. I let myself let that just breathe. Let that breathe
Yeah.
for what it is. Just let it be a chapter that's done.
Yeah.
And then I'll go experience my life the way I want to experience, take a break from social media for a bit. And then right when I feel the calling me again, then I'll go into the next chapter.
People feel that. People feel that even on a subconscious or an internal level. People don't realize that they're feeling, why do I feel so drawn to this person or his words today of all days? This sounds like a message that I actually needed yesterday. I wonder why I'm hearing it today instead. That
It's
universe, yo, that
it's
spirit
that
thing, it's
church. It's that
powerful.
church concept. Everyone's had that moment where they went to church and whatever the pastor said out of nowhere directly connected to something that's happening in your life, and you're like, "Hey, yo, is this God telling me like He's watching me, or like did the pastor stalk me this week? Like,
Right.
how did you know I need to hear that? It just happened to hit you when you needed to hear it most." But he could have preached anything else. He happened to preach what he felt needed to be preached the most. And that's
Yes.
my thing. Not that I want to be a preacher, not that I'm super religious, because I'm not. It's just one of those things of you cannot force the energy. The energy is going to come and go the way it pleases. All you got to do is just go for the ride. So if I'm not on the energy to post and talk about mental health, I'm not going to. But I'm
Yes.
still going to do the work for mental health. I'm still going to study it. I'm still going to live it.
Yes.
I'm still going to practice it. But I might not need a speech on it. I might not need to do that. But when I feel
Yes.
like it, you best believe y'all about to get that speech.
You
So
exude genuineness and realness, and that is something very special. That is why I wanted to expand the platform and the reach, the amount of people that do hear you.
what's
We
the
need more
next quote?
Jordans. We need more Jordans in the world, but you won't let me give you the damn compliment. Anyway,
Oh,
the next quote: be as prepared for success. I didn't even find it. When I went to, for the record, it is in my notes, but it's a very large note with a lot of like paragraphs and stuff. I didn't even see it, but I didn't need to see it. I remember it's in there, baby. It's in there. Be as prepared for success as you are for failure. Interesting phrase. Please.
worried about failure. Like I said earlier, preparation meets opportunity, and that's what makes success. And I say that you should be as prepared for success as we are worried about failure. A lot of us have goals, a lot of us have these ambitions and dreams, but before we even take a step in pursuing it, we start taking steps away from it when we start telling ourselves, well, this is going to be hard, or it takes 5 years of school to do that, or, oh, well, only three people that I know can do it, and most of them don't make money at it, and blah, 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 whatever excuse, right? We come up with all these reasons to worry, and then we never do it. Right? We just never do it. And then we're wondering why we're stuck in the same cycle of not being as successful or as happy or self actualized as we want. And it's like, bro, it's because you were so prepared to fail that you never gave yourself a shot to win. And I read and heard, and I've been hearing about it for, obviously, I didn't realize I was hearing about it for a couple of years now, but it resonated with me a couple of days ago or a week ago, where somebody said that the Japanese samurai, before they go into battle, think of 1,000 ways that they can die in that battle. And for every way that they thought they could die, they create 2 to 3 scenarios facing that same situation on how they survive and how they win. and how they achieved their successful mission in the end. And even if that one of those thousand ways never happens, at least they were prepared for it in case it did. So that worst case scenario you just thought about of, it's going to take me 12 years of school or 5 years of school. Do I have that time? All right, cool. Well, what is it I was going to do for my next 5 years anyway? Well, here's how we're going to make this happen in 3.5 or 4 years. We map out a plan so that when you're faced with whatever it is, you are prepared to take it on. And it's one of those things where like prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. Like it's it's a very simple concept that most people struggle on because we are so worried about failing. We're worried about looking stupid. We're so worried about not succeeding that it's like, bro, you're not succeeding because you're just not even trying at this point. You're evading it. You're jaded to it. It's like, nah, bro, fall in love with the idea that you might fail. Fall in love with the idea that you're going to have setbacks. Fall in love with the idea this is going to suck some days. But also understand that in your head, you are already prepared for it to begin with. If you're prepared for it, you're not phased. When you're prepared for these things, it's easy, and it's no different than when a national disaster breaks out. We see how quickly the military reacts. No hesitation, no scaredness. Well, they might be scared, but no delay. It's like, well, we prepared for this. No matter how scary this is, we were prepared. We came so ready for this. This is what we trained for. That whatever you throw my way, I can handle it. And I know we're going to be successful. I know I'm going to win in this because I was prepared to win, because I knew that losing was a possibility. I knew that losing was such a strong possibility that I had to create the opportunity for me to win by being so prepared. You can come back now because I feel lonely again. There we go. Here you go.
To escape or avoid, especially by cleverness or trickery. Okay, you're
Work a lot
escaping.
harder. You work harder to avoid it.
Escaping.
You work so much harder to run from what you want than you do by just chasing it.
Escaping.
The work you do to avoid the things that you want the most but you're afraid of, you're doing way more work to avoid it than you are by just chasing it every time. It's so much easier. Like, I want to be a bodybuilder. What do you got to do? You got to work out and diet. Well, I'm going to eat anyway, and I'm going to work out anyway. Word. I just got to choose what I eat wisely and choose how to work out wisely, and I can do bodybuilding. But to be like, oh man, I don't know if I can do the diet. Maybe you was going to eat. You were going to eat a burger, eat some fish. You're going to eat some French fries, eat a baked potato. Don't put cheese on your broccoli. Just eat it. You know what I mean? Oh man, I go to the gym every day, but I don't know. Well, just lift the weights a little bit harder, go a little bit heavier, test it. You were going to do it anyway. Why are you BSing it? You're making it harder on yourself to get to it now. Make it simple. Just do the work. If you stop running from the work, you are now prepared for when you do win. Winning does not. I've never been surprised when I won. I hate people at the award shows. They're like, "Oh my god, you picked me! I never." Yes, you
Right,
did.
right, right, right. Dude, like, nah, I worked.
Well,
I worked to be
you thought you
nominated. Chill,
thought
chill.
you thought Beyonce didn't know she was gonna win 100 Grammys that year. She did it to win the Grammy. She
Yeah,
goes, she pretty sure when she made the song, she goes, "Yeah, this song's gonna win a Grammy. That one will get nominated. That'll get her."
right.
They know what they're doing. Why? Because I was
Yep,
so prepared to do it. I didn't
right,
release this until I knew I was prepared for what was coming with it.
right.
So you're not surprised when you win because you worked for it. You knew, in fact, you already visualized you winning. That when it happened, you already saw it
Yes.
playing in your head. That it happened almost to the T of what you visualized. Because that's how strong your work ethic and preparation was.
Mmm.
So yeah, I'm not surprised when I win. I'm not gonna be surprised when I win the Olympia. I'm not gonna be surprised when I start my company for mental behavioral health. I'm not gonna be surprised when Vero Mastodon makes it to the Forbes 500 top companies. I'm not gonna be surprised when Aries Nutrition is all over the country and supplying people with the best supplements. I'm not going to be surprised. It's actually what's supposed to happen, and that's why I say don't compliment me. I don't need a compliment for doing what it is I'm supposed to do. I'm not surprised by it. I'm more so surprised when I do fall and I do stumble and I do slip up. It's like, oh damn, bro, you got caught lacking. You thought you were doing everything you're supposed to do. Now you gotta do a little bit more, but you better keep doing it. So I don't need. That's why I don't like the confidence. Like, bro, I did
Right.
exactly what I knew I was going to do anyway. Oh, you bench press 400, yeah, and you go bench press 400. In fact, you go bench press 500 and make me have to work harder next time. You go be better than me. So I have another goal to go achieve. I did what I was
Right.
supposed to do. I did exactly what I knew I came here to do. It's not a surprise. I'm more surprised when I don't achieve my goal. And people are like, oh, you're cocky and arrogant. No, bro, you don't understand. I missed something in my preparation and I thought I was good. So you need to show
That's
me
called
where I
being
lost at.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to show me where I lost at. And if you can prove to me I lost, you also show me the ticket to me winning again. And that's why
Yes.
I'm so adamant. You have to beat me. You can't just say I lost. No. Beat my ass to the ground,
Yes.
drag me through the dirt, put me at rock bottom, and expose my weaknesses and let me climb my way out of this again. I need that. That's how you keep winning at life, not just physically. It's how you get stronger, period.
Yes.
That's where resiliency kicks
Mentally,
in.
absolutely.
That's when the whole Spyder mentality of shit just works.
If this interview just so happened to be listened to or watched by Ellen DeGeneres
I knew you were going to
or
say that.
Will Smith, or there was a third person, and I'm sad that I forget.
Kevin Hart.
Thank you, or Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
What's the message that you need them to simply hear and be in the
Thank you.
presence of?
Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
And what are the things that you're thanking those three people for, each person?
They let me know I was right. They let me know that 4-year-old and 5-year-old me, and then again 15-year-old me, 17 to 19-year-old me was wrong. I was doing things from a place that wasn't genuine. I was struggling. That's why I had to go to therapy. I needed to.
Right.
But 4 and 5-year-old me, 15-year-old me, 21-year-old me, 26-year-old me now, because of them, I know that I'm right.
Yes.
I know that all the BS, my stubbornness, my commitment to the idea of you're going to recognize this, the fuck you list that I've created over the years, the concept of, bro, you can have more than one passion, go just achieve it all. Like, you don't have to go to college to get a degree and be stuck at a cubicle your whole life. Who the fuck wants to do that anyway? Unless that's what you want to do. Like, unless it's what you want, don't do it.
Amen.
Don't do anything that doesn't call to you. Don't do shit just because a parent suggested it or a friend suggested it. Most people's advice comes from their own insecurities. It does not come from from them actually wanting to see you be better. It comes from them more afraid that you're going to be like them.
Woo! Hold up. I'm sorry. I wasn't ready for that.
But
I was not ready for that direct call out. Most people are coming at you because of their own insecurities.
yeah, people's advice is not because they actually care if you're happy, successful, or self-actualized. Their advice comes from their own insecurities because of their failures to do that for themselves. So they don't want to see you struggle and fail the way they did. So they're going to guide you away from your actual purpose. And it's not their intent. Some people don't want you to succeed. But the ones who do, they're going to give you advice that they genuinely believe is good advice. But when you look back at it, ask them if they would give that advice to themselves.
And it's only good for them. No, regardless of whether or not they would give it to
It's not even.
themselves.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's not even good for them because it's advice that they're. It's the advice that they listen to that leads them to the point where they feel they need to give that advice. So it didn't work. When I tell somebody I want to be a bodybuilder, oh well, that's not really a realistic career. You know, like that shit. You want to be? How about becoming a personal trainer? How about get the fuck out of my way? I'm becoming a bodybuilder.
Right.
When the people hear other people's goals, the first thing they do is try to find something comparable to it or real to it in their own life. So if you don't know an Arnold Schwarzenegger, you don't know how many bodybuilders there are, you're not going to understand what it is I'm trying to accomplish here.
Yes.
So your advice of make it more realistic to who, bro? My reality is a cartoon. I'm a real life superhero if you ask me. What are you?
And that's what made me flip out the way that I did. I don't understand why more people are not open-minded and they don't lack judgment. Why are we being so judgmental to such a dramatic fault where you think that your story is my story?
When you hear Kevin Hart, Ellen, and Will Smith speak, don't listen to the laughs. Don't look at the money. I would have listened to them when they were poor because they were speaking universal truths. And when you tap into yourself more and you tap into the universe the right way, there's certain things that you just know. And it's you trust your gut. My dog right now is sniffing the fucking vinyl rail. She was asleep next to me and got up to decide to sniff a vinyl rail. Why? Something inside of her said there was something over there for her to explore. Go ahead. Who knows what she might find? Who knows what she got out of that? To me, it's the dumbest thing I saw her do today.
You better take Brielle and work her into a motivational speech.
Bro,
yes!
You were asleep to go sniff the vinyl rail that's been there every day that you see every day.
Right.
You chose to sniff. Okay, you picked up on something that I didn't notice or see or sense because I'm not you. I'm not tapped into what you're tapped into. Go do whatever you feel like you got to go do for you. But make sure you do it. She made sure she sniffed that. She thought about it. I saw her look at it like 5 times. She looked at it. Cool. Her ears perked up, looked at it again. Her nose, I got to go sniff whatever's over there because something's telling me to go there. Go ahead, baby girl. Follow it. I don't care what it is. You might find some shit. You know what I mean? And it's one of those. And if you find nothing, there was no harm in exploring it. And it's that concept. Kevin Hart, Will Smith, and Ellen DeGeneres literally preach the idea of just go fucking do it. You're going. In fact, do it with the intent to fumble and fail. Do it understanding that do it with the urge to make as many mistakes as humanly possible as early as you possibly can while doing it. and then hopefully you get to make some more mistakes as you get better at it because it's only going to make you better. Like
Because
it's one of those.
that's the only way you grow.
Bro, we're so afraid of failure that we're failing to win, and we don't even fucking realize it. We're failing to win because we settled on mediocrity, and that's the shit, bro. Even if I don't make $1 million, I did not live a mediocre life.
Amen.
If I if I never own a house, if I end up homeless, I didn't live a mediocre life. I took major risks that just didn't work out, but fuck it, at least I tried, and I will
Yes.
die happy regardless, and I'm okay with that. Versus saying I got $5 million, but I'm doing all the shit that I don't want to do, and surrounded by people I don't want to be around, and I still have no clue what my actual purpose is. Nah, bro.
Wearing a suit. It's like, no.
I'm wearing a fucking. I'm
And
wearing
I'm
a
wearing a
suit.
tie.
I'm wearing a suit and tie and acting like this is comfortable. Like no, bro. Go do you, man. And those three people right there will get told thank you because they let me know that when I was 4 years old and said I could be a superhero with healing powers, I was
Yes.
right. They let 15-year-old me know that when I said, yeah, bro, you can start something bigger than you and you were supposed to be Spyder, I was right. They let 21-year-old me when I said, no, bro, bodybuilding and fitness, that's 100% your passion, but mental health is too. But so is this apparel stuff. So is supplements. So is traveling. You can do it all and make money at it all and entertainment. I'm a dancer. I'm a performer. I've been on stages around the country. These are things that I have passions for that I literally just said, let's go see what's out there. And because I said that, I can now say that I'm probably one of the best male performers that hit the stage for what I've done. Period. It's a fact that I say that now. You can't tell me I'm not one of the best amateur bodybuilders in the state of New Jersey, and that's just because that never stopped. You can't tell me that my national titles for track and field don't mean shit to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything that I wanted to do, I genuinely did it because it's the only thing I wanted to do in that moment. So if I died right now, I did everything I wanted to do so far, or I'm in the
Hmm.
pursuit of it. So at least I can say, "Damn, I died trying."
The journey versus the destination. The things that you've
Yep.
experienced and learned along the
Yep.
way. All valuable, all beautiful things.
So, in fact, Ellen, Will Smith, and Kevin, when y'all see this, because you'll see this, I'm gonna make sure y'all see this when I meet you. I'm gonna show you this video. Thank you. No, no, just straight up thank you. But outside of them, Light Eyes, you're my Will Smith. Ava,
Mm,
I already told you, you're my Ellen DeGeneres. You're there.
mm,
And Chico Bradley, you are my Kevin Hart. So thank you. Because y'all are the real world reality that people need to feel concrete and make sure they can believe in it. They can see it
mm.
on a tangible scale. Y'all are that tangible scale that other people can now look at it and see and say, oh shit, that is possible. Lada is an actor, a dancer, a DJ, a poet, a writer, a director, a producer. Um,
Catch your
my
breath
training,
while you try to remember what else.
my training partner. He's a father. He's a coach. He's everything that Will Smith has embodied as well.
Yep.
Kevin Hart, you're immobile. You pursued everything you wanted, everything Chico pursued. Ellen DeGeneres, you went from being a comedian to the talk show to owning these companies to being a humanitarian. Uh,
And fighting adversity and oppression just for
you're
your sexual preference
right.
along the way.
You're a lesbian. You fight for LGBTQ rights, but also you fight for minority rights on all aspects. You're doing things that a lesbian woman in a racist, homophobic society, in a white male dominated society in America should not be doing, but you're doing it.
Yep.
Way to tell the universe, way to, not the universe, way to tell society's version of reality, fuck you. This is what the universe really has to offer. Stop
This is
dealing
what the
with,
truth is.
stop living in this weird little frequency we're all living in that all we see is right here and start
Yes.
seeing what's here and here. And your reality becomes way better, bro.
Yes. I like what you said about Ellen, and I'm flattered and humbled as always. Not just that you've taken the time out to chat with me today, but because you have compared me to someone that does all of those things you just explained. And there may be a lot of people that don't know why I started this podcast or really why I called it the Mirage. A mirage is an optical illusion. But what is there to say about the fact that when you see one, it is still your truth? You're still seeing just that, a mirage. There's still something there to see.
It's real somewhere. Reality is a matter of perception. I have
So for the
schizophrenic
person,
patients, bro.
yeah, yep.
They see
So
people, they're hearing shit. It's real for them.
it's their reality. Yes.
Yeah.
So me calling this podcast the Mirage and bringing everyone on for these interviews, this is you see Jordan Ashley, you see Spyder, but from this conversation what you did was you walked closer to that mirage, knowing that it was a mirage, and you wanted to see what was really in that space. And
Then you
today in
realize
this
it's not a mirage.
conversation, and you realize it's not just a mirage. And today in this conversation, you heard so much about Spyder, so many details, and so much more of what make him who he truly is. The truth. That is what I'm trying to get across. People's truths. And thank you for letting me dig in
This
and
is
pick
fun.
your brain
This is
and
fun doing
find
it
out what
twice.
your
Let's do it a
truth is.
third time just for fun.
Just for shits and giggles.
Let's do a third
Stop.
one.
No. Sincere gratitude for your patience and your positivity. From me to you, that's something that I've been working on a spiritual level. Not feeling defeated when life literally gives me some lemons, and just being focused on making the lemonade out of them. So
You know, it's
I was
so crazy you said that. Oh my God.
what
The
I
thought
say?
that popped into my mind. This is another one. Brittany Porter had the best interview of all time. She might be like the dopest person on the planet. She will go to your house, and if you have a lemon, she will take the lemon, ask you for it first, wash it off, and will peel it, and will eat the lemon like
And
it's a
eat it
bug.
like an apple?
Yep. Now stop. We all have that saying like life gives you lemons, and we're saying it as if lemons were the bad thing.
Oh.
To some people, that lemon is exactly what the fuck they wanted anyway.
Just when you thought Britney was as great as she could
Right?
possibly
No.
be.
Right. So when you said now when life gives you lemons, like make lemonade, in my head is like, or just eat the fucking lemon as it is. It might be exactly what the fuck you need. And I've watched Brittany literally eat lemons, and in my head it's like
Brittany
it's a weird.
Porter, listen to me.
It's
You're
weird. It's
taking
weird.
a societal phrase that
It's weird.
everyone on the planet uses and flipping it into something positive. I can't
It's
wait till she hears this.
it's it's weird to watch her eat a lemon, but it's also weird to watch somebody chase their goals unrelenting. It's also really weird to watch someone achieve heights that we only thought possible in our imaginations. And yes, Brittany's eating a lemon, which she probably shouldn't. It'll probably destroy her esophagus, and the acids from it will probably be bad for her stomach. Cool, she'll be all right. She's one of the healthiest people that I know. She'll be fine. But the idea of it, of no one else is really just going to eat a lemon, and most of us aren't going to take the time to even squeeze that motherfucker for lemonade. And sometimes squeezing it for lemonade, you're taking away the essence of what that lemon is. Bro, eat the fucking lemon as is and see what the. And if you don't like it, then go squeeze the rest. But it's all right. Anyway, that just explains more about Brittany. She really just dives head
Yes,
first.
it
She wants
does.
it, she just gets it. You gave me
Oh
this,
my
I'm gonna make this
gosh.
bitch work, and that's why she's amazing. Yeah, Brittany, you just
So
re-inspire me.
amazing.
I'm going to win the Olympia a year earlier now because of Brittany, guaranteed.
Do it. Thank you, Brittany.
Good
She's
job,
so
bro.
amazing. On a spiritual level, on a personal level, I'm trying to be that person. Just because something frustrating and annoying happens does not mean I have to react a certain way. I might feel the emotion, I can be realistic about the emotion, but that technical difficulty swooped right in, and my immediate I felt a thing like a heart drop because I went to go to start editing. So a heart drop sort of ordeal happened, and I just kind of stared at it, and that's when my specific words to you were, what I'm about to type to you, I'm not going to be defeated by. And the word defeat is something that you can define subjectively. For me,
Yep.
defeat would have been letting that circumstance have more control over how I reacted and how I responded to the situation. And I was like, no, we're not even going to do this. There's a solution. We're going to talk about the solution, etc. But I am thanking you and grateful for you in so many ways. And now one of those ways is because you were patient and positive and understanding about doing this again. And for that, I'm very appreciative.
It's fun, man. Things don't always go our way, but it is what it is.
Amen. That's life.
Yep, this is
That's
fun. I enjoyed this.
life. It's so much fun conversing with you. I really, really, really appreciate you. There are so many gems that you be dropping. Is there anything specific that comes to mind? Knowing that you had the opportunity to do this again today, was there anything that popped up? Anything that you want to make sure that everyone that watches this video knows?
Yo, stop looking for other people's validations. Fuck how people feel about you. Worry about how you feel about yourself. Validate your damn self. Pull and stop trying to pull a seat up to somebody else's table. Just go get your own table and sit by your damn self.
Yes.
Being in the company of yourself might be better than being in the company of others sometimes. So
Amen.
pull up your own table, bring your own table, pull up your own chair to it, and eat whatever it is you got to eat by yourself sometimes. And understand that you are dope. You are going to be just fine. You just have to listen to your inner child. Bro. Your inner child is almost always right because it's coming from the purest part of you. Listen to your inner child and connect that to your reality. And I promise you, the world will be 10 times better.
10 times better. And instead of fading out to the Mirage logo, we're going to fade out to you zooming in on the Vero Mastodon logo. Shout them out. Shout them
Shout out to the gang. Where's wait, opposite side, rotate. There we go. Shout out to the gang. I don't like this. Amber. Get back over here. I need your help. This is not working the way I thought it would. It's not as smooth as it was supposed to be at all.
Okay, wait.
So
Okay, wait.
boom.
The fact
Nope,
that you were
nope,
like,
nope.
wait, other
Now
side,
the
wait,
surf
other.
filtered. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I got the camera. Here you go, camera. Vero Mastodon.
I just want
Vero
to
Mastodon.
say,
Shout out to the gang.
before we
Some of the most
continue
positive
calling
human
Harlan
beings.
trash, I just want to say that his legs are perfect. And
Harlan's
for
legs.
anyone, yes. And for anyone wondering why I'm complimenting Harlan's
Yeah, I'm
legs,
one of those people wondering right now.
oh really?
Harlan's legs. Harlan.
Let's just say that he has the best movie of all time tattooed onto them. That's all that matters. That's all. That's Harlan is king. Why? Because he has Space Jam tattooed on his legs. All right, moving on. Here's my next question.